Hey, bring us in, Billy.
No, PFT can bring us in. He's here.
Bring us in, Billy.
Big T, bring us in.
No,
Ooh, I like that.
Let's just start by roasting PFT for having COVID in 2023.
Oh, that's not
Sorry.
funny, Billy. People are still dying
in
from
the
it.
chat.
That's not funny.
L in the chat.
People are still
My
dying.
bad. Billy, you're gonna feel like a real jerk if I die.
No,
Yeah,
you
but you won't.
Yeah, take that back.
You're probably.
Is he getting to more COVID cases than vaccines? Yes,
Yeah.
but we don't. It's not something to
True.
make fun
I
of.
mean, honestly, if he drops randomly,
Billy.
it's probably.
Well, this
COVID.
wouldn't be random, then would it, Billy?
No.
It wouldn't be died suddenly. It would be died of COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I there's a small part of me that hopes now that I croak just so that Billy feels bad.
Just saying.
a part of you dies. We'd like.
Yeah, part of me has already died working with this guy. I think actually, tell you what, clip this, send it over to Old Takes Exposed just in case I do pass away. I want them to put this out here so that Billy just catches on the chin.
If it's heart related, though.
Why are we like putting heart issues that don't exist onto PFT? That's
I'm
not.
just joking. It's
all a bit.
It's a bit.
Yeah.
I did see there was a study after Hamlin collapsed. There's a study that was going around the internet for a while about like thousands and thousands of athletes that have died in the last 2 years, and then the Hard Factor guys looked at the list that they put together of the actual athletes that they studied, and it was like 70-year-old grandmothers that were like had a heart attack when they were doing water aerobics, or like a 90-year-old person that was on a treadmill, or like one 50-year-old guy that died of cancer. And so it was just a list of 1,000 random people that have died in the last 2 years.
They were doing athletic things.
Some of them weren't even doing athletic things. Some of them were just like walking on a sidewalk outside.
Can you just admit that what you thought was going to happen didn't happen when it came to getting rid of COVID?
What are you talking about?
Okay. Moving on.
No. Because you allude to this every time COVID is brought up past, and I don't want us to take too long on COVID, but what do you think we thought was going to happen? Because you always like smirk when COVID's brought up, like I told you so, but I'm so curious as what you thought we thought was going to happen.
What did you guys think? Say it yourself.
No, I want to know what
you just
I know
asked
what
me to admit that what I thought was going to happen didn't happen.
Yes,
That transmissions would totally be gone.
Nobody said that.
That would
Please
be at least be
find
reduced.
one clip of me. Find one clip of me saying if you get vaccinated, there will be no more COVID. Find one. I'll give you however much. You blank check.
Stop the spread.
check.
I think we can definitely find that on record.
And it
What are you
stopped
talking
the
about?
spread. It stopped the
Okay.
spread. It slows it down.
Do we have to
It
do this?
absolutely-
Yeah.
I
Come
mean,
on.
I'm just
Billy, it's funny, man. It's like, what
Big T, you got
what do you think?
I'm so
No.
dude. It's 2023. I left COVID in 22.
Okay,
I'm
we
not,
did amnesty. We did amnesty. COVID amnesty.
What are you talking about, Billy?
I'm just
Yeah, I'm curious.
COVID amnesty. We've gotten over this. I'm sorry I brought it up.
I don't think you are over it.
Billy was low-key excited I got COVID.
I think so.
Hi,
You're the most boosted dude.
What are you talking about? I got 2 shots, just like everybody else in the office.
And did you not get a booster?
I don't think that I did. No.
You don't.
So
Well,
you're
if you got
now
2, that's a booster.
you're now 3 COVID, 2 shots.
Yeah. Well, the first time that I got it, it's unclear if that was a rebound because I had it twice in the span of like 3 weeks.
So at minimum,
So-
2 and 2.
At minimum, 2 and 2. Yeah.
How about this, Billy? I'm boosted and I've never gotten COVID.
Same.
Congrats.
That's
How
good.
does that? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at shit anecdotally, you have to look at evidence in the preponderance.
And actually, getting to that,
Zoom out.
I'm at war with right wing Twitter right now because for some reason they decided to apply totally anecdotal evidence to pit bulls and totally just negates their logic when it comes to other issues. and it's really pissing me off.
I might be conservative. What's their take?
They're just like pit bulls should be banned.
No, one dude that when you
1,000%.
say you're in a war, you sent one reply to one guy.
I checked my replies. I went after 3 people.
Okay.
Cernovich.
I don't know. I saw you reply to one dude who was like, pit bulls are dangerous.
No, he said they should be banned. And it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're like, you talk about all these gun bans, and I know one's an inanimate object and one, can escape, but like there are similarities by logic and looking at statistics. Like if you analytically look at the statistics on both issues, you'll find that, probably a blanket ban wouldn't work for either of them. And it just pisses me off that they'd apply that to, like, of course there are dangerous pit bulls through a variety of reasons, but just like guns, irresponsible ownership is the direct result of all of these incidences where something goes wrong. I think we can all agree on that.
What if there was a dude that, what if there was a pandemic of people nationwide that would like go into public places with their aggressive pit bulls and go on like mass dog biting sprees?
Well, that kind of does happen.
No, I'm talking about like what we see with gun violence sometimes. Like somebody goes to a parade, brings a pit bull out, and they're like, okay, go attack as many people as you can. How fast do you think pit bulls will be banned?
Well, fast. I'm with it too. I might do it.
False flag.
I might equate that.
PSYOP.
I might equate that to like when pit bulls aren't like dangerous pit bulls, which if you have a dog or dealing with a dog that has aggressive tendencies and that may attack someone. Like let's say you're dealing with like one of the dogs that, let's say a rehabbed fighting pit bull that was taken from a kennel that was fighting dogs. I don't think any of Michael Vick's rehab dogs, there's a documentary on them, were put in a situation where they possibly could cause damage to a person or a dog because they were responsibly taken care of. Like, if there's something that dangerous, you need to ensure that the right training and the right housing especially is made to make sure that these things don't harm anybody else. And yes, there's probably dogs that are past the point of no return because of, abuse, manipulation. And I'm agreeing like bred aggression, but like applying those, like saying that 6% of dogs cause 80% of fatalities is totally misrepresented. If you look at like the socioeconomic conditions, the accessibility of these dogs, and how they end up getting put in those situations where they are basically like, let's say, you have a tweaker in a trailer park who buys a bunch of these dogs because he's making meth in a lab and he doesn't secure them and he purposely gets them aggressive to guard his meth lab.
What I'm hearing is the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a dog is a good guy with a dog.
That was my tweet. I tweeted that. I was like, we can't ban all pit bulls because only the bad guys with pit bulls, the bad owners with pit bulls are going to have them. We need good owners with pit bulls to stop the bad owners with pit bulls. But it's just like,
I mean, look at Chicago, look at all those pit bulls running around.
No, I said, honestly, rural areas has the most dog attacks.
Because fuck them.
And also, they don't lock their dogs up.
Native reservations have
they
a
don't
lot
teach
of
their kids dog safety.
Dog attacks too. It's not it's more of a socioeconomic issue because pit bulls are the cheapest dogs to buy and they're being I just want common sense pit bull control.
You saying poor people shouldn't have pit bulls? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that maybe there should be
sounds like
more restrictions on
poor people's pit bulls.
Yeah, because
you're not using your pit bulls correctly.
But like basically like backyard breeders are breeding pit bulls. There's a lot amount of them. They're not new. Like 80% of the dog attacks are caused by unneutered dogs. Like,
it sounds like what you're saying to me is pit bulls left to their own devices are dangerous. But if they're trained correctly and extensively, then they're not.
Right. Just like, I mean, the thing
that's
is
kind of antithetical to your argument.
No, but when pit bull bans are put in place, usually dog bites of other breeds, there's a huge uptick. So for example, England's had a dangerous dog ban since 1991, and they've just replaced like the people who are wanting a status symbol of an aggressive dog, like and wants an intimidating presence.
What's their attack ratio to ours?
I think it's pretty similar to the amount of dogs they have in England. So like, for example, if you pull up, there was 9 fatal dog attacks in England. And I think population wise, comparatively to the United States, I think there was like in the past year, I think there was 9 in England, 20 in the US. Let me look at the exact statistics, but they're all using like American bulldogs and other larger dogs like mastiffs or I don't think Rottweiler is legal, but mastiffs that are causing the attacks and not pit bulls.
I know that in Australia they had one pit bull accident back in like the 90s, and it took out like 30 people. Then they banned pit bulls. They haven't had another pit bull attack since. Well, so just use your head.
Well, there was a pit bull attack in a cafe in Sydney in 2016, and only a bad guy with a pit bull was there.
Where did this whole thing come from?
I don't know. I just got like it's just.
Hold on, you're flubbing the stats real quick, buddy. You're
wait. Let me look.
Yeah, up. You said there's only 20 in America. That's not true, man.
Fatalities.
Here are dog attack statistics, breeds that
we
were
pulled responsible for at least
dog bite related fatality. Pit bulls 284 deaths.
Since
Rottweilers 45 deaths
since 2005. Sure. That I know the exact stat you're looking at right now. If you go to
recent dog bites in American,
I literally was just reading it all night. List of fatal dog attacks in the United States. We're gonna pull up 2022 as an example.
So you got to make a documentary bit suddenly.
Yeah, I know. This morning I was literally writing. 1, 2,
I'm with the propaganda.
4, 5,
I see.
I'll be interviewed.
7,
I see
8,
what
9,
prompted
10,
all this.
11,
It was a
12,
7-year-old.
13,
Are you just going to
14,
keep
16, 17,
counting?
19, 20.
It was a 7-year-old in Louisiana who was mauled to death in her yard by a neighbor's pit bull.
Oh,
well, that's enough for me.
Sounds vaguely dangerous.
Lock them all up. They're dangerous to society, and they had no benefit.
You're not sending the best and brightest pit bulls. Billy's right.
Well, if anything, there needs to be
some bad battles.
Okay. Well, I did some bad battles. So when I was selling used dogs down in Texas, I did notice this anecdotally because I would go set up outside different sites, right? And sometimes I'd be outside the Whole Foods, sometimes I'd be outside of PetSmart, and then other times I go down to the Walmart in San Marcos. And the Walmart in San Marcos was a special type of place because I got more people that would drive by with baby pit bulls, like little puppies, in the back of their cars trying to sell them to me. And then I'd also get people that would come up and just be like, hey, y'all got any pits? And if I did have a pit, I'd be like, yeah, I got this one. And be like, oh, no, he's neutered, ain't he? And I'd be like, yeah, he is. Sure is neutered. I'd be like, I don't want him. But there would be people selling pit bulls in this parking lot all the time.
Yeah.
And it was for like either protection or fighting, or maybe a little bit of both. And that was definitely like the lowest socioeconomic area that I would go set up in. And it was the only place that I ever saw it happen. It happened all the time.
So it's easy to get a pit bull, and they sell them for like $50 sometimes. So it's
it's like a side hustle for some people.
Yeah.
So it's 30 to 50. 30 to 50 people die per year from pit bull attacks.
Wait.
That's just pit bulls.
I read, so in 2022, I just read 26 people in the United States died. In England, 10 people died in 2022, and they have a pit bull ban.
That's all dog. That's all dog attacks. I'm sorry, that's all dog attacks. 30 to 50 people die per year. All dog attacks, but 66% of those deaths are attributed to pit bulls.
I think Billy's right though. If you take away pit bulls, if you're not allowed to have pit bulls, people are just going to get other breeds of dog and treat them just the same, and then those dogs are going to bite, and those dogs are going to kill.
Let's just not have pets. That's what's up.
Right, but the demand's going to increase. The demand's going to increase for a pit bull-like dog, and then you're going to have cane corsos getting bred more, and then the supply is going to go up, the price is going to go down, the accessibility is going to go everywhere.
There's a black market pit bull thing going on. It's like if you take away safe access to safe abortions, then people be crossing state lines to pick up like these little knockoff pit bulls.
And guess what? Then those knockoff pit bulls aren't going to get taken to the vet because the vet will probably have to report them. Then they're not going to get neutered, and the attacks are going to go up. So there was a study done in places in America and Canada where pit bulls were banned, and in replacement, Rottweiler bites went up, and Labrador bites went up.
Yeah,
which is crazy. So I don't know, but the thing is, it's just like they use.
Do you guys see that beeping on my end? Sorry.
I find the sounds of the city like relaxing, like a rainforest.
Yes, you can
kind
hear
of.
it.
Yeah, this
so
is
it doesn't
ridiculous.
bother me.
There's like a truck that's across the street that's been in reverse for the last 5 minutes.
Go yell out the window. It's New York. You can do this. Be like, shut the fuck up. I'm doing a podcast here. That's like a very
I'm walking
common
here.
thing. Yeah, like dude, it's New York, bro. Just
All right,
go yell out
I'm
the
gonna do it.
window.
I'm gonna do it. Hang on.
Just say, shut the fuck up.
Can you take your
I'm doing
mic?
a podcast here. We'll hear him.
Nope, nobody's saying it.
Might not though, because
He might.
Discord.
Hey, take your car out of reverse. I'm podcasting here.
Say it louder. I don't think he heard you.
You know, you're in a studio.
I don't think they listened.
Good job.
It's still beefing.
Oh, it worked. All right.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. I love being a New Yorker.
Podcasted in.
You need a podcaster at work sign to put on your door.
That would be, yes. Oh my God.
No,
Just
but
chicks would be throwing themselves through my window if you have a podcaster at work sign.
Yeah, I'd probably create a ruckus.
so a husky had a fatality. 2 huskies had a fatality in England in 2022. So it's like
you a pit bull simp.
I'm not a simp. I may have
As an advocate.
I have very good friends who are pit bulls or pit bull adjacent, and it's BS. They're great, loving dogs, and this whole idea that they snap at a moment's notice is.
Do you think pit bulls are at all more dangerous than other dogs in general? Like 1%?
I do think that there are dogs that have been conditioned for aggression.
So yes.
Oh,
In
just say
those-
say yes, man. But what are you dancing around there for?
I think, but yeah, 100%. They're bigger.
Okay,
They're more.
That's all I want.
They're more able to cause damage. 100%. And if those dogs should be, or the responsible thing to do with those dogs is if they're literally running around attacking people, they need to be responsibly put down. Or if they're just naturally high energy, put them in a working environment like hog hunting and let them run and do what they want to do and keep them in a kennel and responsibly
Take them out and let them hunt some hogs every now and again. Come on.
yeah. I mean, if you want to put these, that's
It's a pretty simple answer.
That's a responsible.
If you don't
thing
let
to
your
do.
pit bull go kill some pigs, yeah, it might attack a kid.
That's
Yeah,
just
but
what-
you should
You have to
keep-
do your
That's
reading
your
before you
fault.
get a dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like I know this. I'm just saying this whole let's ban pit bulls coming from these specific people just pisses me off because it's completely antithetical to a lot of their arguments, and it's just I don't know. I can't like. I like to think that I'm an independent thinker and I have one set of logic. And if you're just like fucking around and just not having independent thought and like claim to be like an advocate for a certain set of things,
Conservatives
like,
contradicting themselves.
Yeah, but it happens on both sides.
I
It
don't.
pisses
I
me
have
off.
never once in my life heard of this as a conservative issue.
He's liking
it's
it
now
to the
they're
gun.
trying to make-
He's
yeah.
liking it to the gun.
Yeah.
Debate.
And I understand that, guns and pit bulls aren't the same thing. One's inanimate, but like you don't leave a child alone with a gun. You shouldn't leave a child alone with a dog that you think like a responsible owner would not leave a dog that.
Like
around
Billy,
a
your
child.
dog, Whitey, he's a credit to his species. He's very well spoken. He's clean, articulate. I would leave any kid with Whitey.
That's a good one.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a responsible owner. I wouldn't just because he hasn't played with, like, he sometimes plays a little rough, and I wouldn't want to leave him with a child that was much lighter than him and didn't. I wouldn't do that. I would never put him in that situation.
So there's no such thing as a bad dog, just a bad owner.
Yeah, I would be a bad owner if I left him alone with a toddler, and just because, even with any dog, like there's family dogs on this list that accidentally like hurt children, and they're like huskies. I'll read them. Other ones, German shepherds, just because it was
German shepherds bite a lot.
playing gone wrong.
Yeah, I think.
Have y'all ever like just thought about the psychology of owning a pet? Like, we took an animal, we genetically manipulated them into our own selfish needs for thousands of years. We have just crafted like slaves. It's wild when you think about what we've done with dogs. Well, and like when you say that, when I say I could hear the hairs standing up in the back of y'all's neck. When you say that, people are so offended. Like people get so mad at my dog takes, right? They just think I'm a monster. But I'm like, yo, you're the monster. You're the one who has kidnapped these sentient beings and decided you know what's best for them. It's wild.
If I took a domesticated dog and put it out in the woods, it would die.
You sound like a slave owner.
Am I lying?
That's what they used to say to slaves. They used to say like,
it does. Yeah, that's true.
You wouldn't be able to make it out there by yourself. You should be glad I'm giving you these meals.
Right.
It's what. No, if one thing we know on this earth, if you took a poodle and put him in a jungle, yeah, you're probably not gonna make it, cuz. But what I'm saying is, life happens. Life evolves. There will be species of dogs that die out. 99.9% of every species that has ever been on this planet dies. Guess what? Most of them niggas gonna die if you put them out in the wild. But some are gonna adapt and evolve. That's life. But you thinking you know what's best for them is wild.
I do know what's best for individual dogs right now. I swear to God, dogs are dumb as shit. They need me to tell them what to do. If you were to say like, do I know what's best for the wolf species as a whole thousands of years ago before they got domesticated, then that's another question. Then at that point, when we start to domesticate them for like farm work, for just like life, for hunting, that's a choice that we actively made. Right now, there's a golden retriever that lives next door. If I go, I kidnap it, and then I drive it out to the Finger Lakes and drop it off in the woods, that dog's going to die within 5 days. That's just a fact.
It's gonna get killed. I mean,
that's life.
Wolves and coyotes kill dogs all the time.
That's what's up.
But another thing, honestly, it's actually
wait.
A lot.
Do you think wolves look at domesticated dogs and they're like sellouts?
Yeah,
soft.
Yeah, they're like
you're the suburbs. They suburb. You know what I'm saying? They're just sweet, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't never been through nothing. You know what I'm saying? Get these meals literally handed on a silver platter. We out here grinding. You know what I'm saying? For the bottom. Shout out to wolves, man.
Shout out wolves. I agree with that.
But actually, domesticated animals have won the genetic lottery. Like an animal subconsciously, is wired to try to procreate to make sure its genetics gets passed on, right? So like, look at this, the aurochs, right? The European aurochs, which was the wild European cattle, are extinct, but their ancestors, who are now domestic cattle, are now still around. It was probably the greatest move for them to sort of not resist domestication.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have survived.
No, hell no.
Think about it.
You mean to tell me the best thing for a species is to be livestock for another species? Like I'm just bugging, saying, if dog. They are bred for us to eat.
Right, but they don't go extinct. Their genetic lineage has continued because of that.
Their sole purpose is to feed humans.
I mean,
you saying they won?
If you're saying if you could reason with a bull, right? And you said, "Hey, what's up, bull? Do you want to just eat grass and procreate all the time as much as you can? So, but like, you're gonna hit a demise when we're no longer have use for you." If you could reason with a bull and then be like, and you'll have calves and you'll have tons of heifers around you and you'll like be able to chill in a field, but one day.
Here's your one logic that you say you have one set of logic. Here it is. Give me freedom or give me death. Right?
Yeah, but I don't think a bull really
You
cares.
reasoned with them, they'd probably say I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees.
Oh.
Yeah, but think about it.
I just did, and it's stupid.
They want food, shelter, like food was it the 3 F's?
Are you talking about the hierarchy of needs?
Yeah, it's
Maslow.
like
yeah,
food, fucking.
Oh, you're using a bro
it's
eyes
like
version
fucking
of
friends.
No, it's food, fornicate, and
This is Billy's hierarchy of needs.
No, this is how we like remembered it in bio.
Billy's hierarchy of needs is fuck, food, frogs. 3 F's.
Wait, is it? Anyway,
Anyway,
You just dropped the thought.
I did want to follow up on something that we talked about because I had a listener sent me this dude's name, this football coach, because on Tuesday's Nanodosing, we talked a little bit about Arian's strategy as a football coach, where he would just not let the team practice or not force the team to practice and just like save up your energy, don't get hurt, that sort of thing, and focus on other stuff. A listener sent me the name of a high school football coach from Minnesota to look up. So I looked him up, and it's a guy named Gagliardi.
Oh.
So he was a football. What's that, Billy?
from St. John's?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know him?
they recruited me.
And why didn't you go there?
Different reasons.
Okay.
What were one of the reasons?
Academics.
Oh, you didn't make it?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so he was a football coach up in Minnesota at St. John's University, right? And he coached from 1953 until 2012. He is the all-time winningest college football coach in United States history. He's got more wins than anybody. And his coaching methods were distilled into a series of winning with no's. So he had things that you were not allowed to do at his college. No blocking sleds or dummies. He didn't give out any athletic scholarships. No weightlifting program. No whistles. No coach. The players just called him John. No tackling in practice. Players wore shorts or sweats. No long practices, an hour and a half or less. And so he was the all-time winningest college football coach in the history of the sport. And he coached up in Minnesota for like, what is that, 50 years, 60 years? Pretty crazy. So like it can be done. It's just that we've always done it one way, and that's kind of how it's been accepted to be throughout the sport. I do think that there's at some point you have to make sure that you guys can tackle a little bit, and you have to work on form tackling. But I think that if you have good enough players, then you can definitely get away with not practicing, or at least changing how practice looks entirely.
Yeah, I didn't say no practice. I said like practice as far as like we should not be exerting this much energy on a Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I played, I don't know how it is now, but like the CBA said you're allowed one padded practice per week through the season. I think that's still the case because it's still under the same CBA. That's stupid. Like to me, that's really dumb. It just makes sense. And as sports science, as more and more teams start to like adhere to sports science, like the majority, like when I went to Miami, they were really big on sports science. And they were saying like they have people on call literally with laptops and monitoring people's heart rates and stuff like that. And they'll be like, okay, let him sit for like 3 reps because of so. And like all they collect all this data and they use it. And that's what it is. Football especially is so far behind because it's just like this militarized place where it's like I remember like getting concussions. And like there was like, oh, you got your bell rung. Like yeah, I did, but like it's just like that's the mindset of football. So like once that shit is over, once they start to realize the asset is the player, careers are going to be longer. The games are going to be funner to watch because week 17, all your starters are playing rather than like 3 or 4 of them. That was the weirdest thing ever. I remember in the league was like end of the year, like you're playing against people who are like not that good because all the starters, like all the like really good people, like they all get hurt over the year. And so you're playing with guys who they bring up from practice squad, they calling guys in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like towards the end of the year, like the roster's depleted. And so there's only one way to stop that shit.
They'll never, ever take games away, but 17 games is crazy.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
it should be what, like 14?
I mean, 16 was cool. It's just it was the Thursday night games that are stupid to me. Like that's just dumb. It's just so dumb. It just doesn't make any sense, man. And then you claim to care about player safety, and you got a Thursday night football game, right? Get the fuck out of here. Tells me you never play football.
I think coaches also are going to be like a little bit against eliminating some of these practices, or at least changing some of the rules, because coaches still, at least in my experience, they see practice as the opportunity that they have to like instill discipline on their players. So you can make people run more. You can make them do drills that they don't want to do. It's a way of holding players accountable. Like if you fuck up in a game, then you've got, you have to do like 8 more reps than everybody else, or you have to go through a gauntlet and get your ass kicked for a little bit. It's like the main tool that they have to make sure that you're being accountable to all your details.
It's also practice is like the coach's only like receipt for them doing a good job, right? Like in their eyes, right? They're like, I have to control the situation, and they're control freaks. Like football coaches are control freaks, and so their only control is like, okay, if they do it my way, then the product that we put out is the best. Like I remember the lockout year, coaches were scared there was going to be all kinds of crazy injuries. They're scared the quality of play was going to go down. But what ended up happening was all those OTAs and all that extra practice and shit, guys just spent time with their actual trainers that is specified for your skill set. They just spent all that time with them in the off season, and everybody had a great year. Guys were healthy. It was amazing. And so they'll figure it out sooner or later, man.
What were your stats like that year?
I know I made a Pro Bowl. I think I got hurt in training camp, so I missed like the first and third game, and then I think I got off. And I got off. I think it was 1,200 yards, something like that.
Getting back to the St. John's coach, I honestly don't think, and Arian may disagree with me, I don't think that type of philosophy would work on the D1 level, just because at the D3 level, there's only a limited amount of practices. There's less practice they can do as opposed to a D1 schedule, and they don't have as much off-season programs. So if that time was spent more on football schematics and X's and O's, then they definitely had a leg up on the competition. And of course, D3 is the athletes are much different, so that the speed is much slower. So the difference in a weight program and getting players up to like, superhuman athletic level through lifting wasn't as important.
No, I think high school and college practice definitely serves a purpose, because a lot of guys don't know technique. A lot of guys don't know, they have to see stuff. And a lot of times that only works if they're live bullets. But I was more referencing like the NFL, where guys, if you're there, you know how to play more than likely. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, you're going to find somebody who can. And so it's like high school, yeah, I understand practicing. But even then, like in the season, let's just fastly go through this shit. Like, what
about line play? Because line play is so inherently physical that the only way that you can tell who's good and who's not is by putting them in live drills with each other and seeing who's strong, who can hold up to a bull rush, who can use their hands, that sort of thing. So wouldn't they need the reps more than any other position?
Yes, but like I said, if we're talking NFL, you already know how to do that shit, right? And so it's basically just refining your technique. And a lot of the shit, especially when you get to like year 8, year 9, most of them cats don't practice anyway. Like I know a bunch of linemen, especially like when we go inside, when you go in the bubble and you practice on turf. A lot of older guys can't practice on that turf anyway, so you just be sitting out. And so I think, like I said, it serves a purpose for the younger cats, like high school shit like that. But high school line play is so bad anyway. You're not missing much, man. Like I promise you. Like if you're good, you're gonna be good. But high school line play is just not that good. It's like when you watch back like high school film, it's not that good.
The worst was in high school if there was like rain or thunderstorm outside and you had to put your shells on and practice in the gym. Coach hated practicing on the basketball court. He was like, "There's gonna be some candy ass shit today."
Yeah.
He thought like we were going to catch basketball, like it was a disease that we were going to get by practicing in their gym. You're not going to want to hit.
You're going to be flopping for penalties.
Yeah.
That was such a saying in training camp. Like in middle school and even like early high school, they'd be like, "You're going to discover if you're a basketball player today."
Yeah. I mean, I think the Chiefs play basketball on a football field sometimes, but they're so damn good at it that it's actually like they're a really good basketball team.
They're the Harlem Globetrotters against some teams.
Yeah, they clown him.
They clown the
Our
shit out
head
of him.
coach would just, anytime he wanted to demonstrate football players versus everyone else, our practice field was like up elevated above the school so you could look down and see it. And he would just point down at the building and he would go, everybody down there, XYZ. And so down there was everyone else. And then the football players were up here.
Not football players.
Right. It was the football team and then down there.
I love it.
That's so awesome.
One of my favorite things is when listeners send us examples of their most ridiculous high school football stories and like stupid shit that their coaches did to them. Because high school football coaches they're just like such unique people that they do too much sometimes, but they're always like, they think that they're innovating the game. They think that they're carrying on like a great tradition of athletics. And a lot of times they're just the biggest shitheads in the world.
They forge men. The next men of America, PFT. Can you please, like the backbone of the military and our whole government is high school football coaches. They make men out of boys. So just wanted you to know that. I don't think you did.
High school football coaches should get military style medals and they should be awarded like ranks in the Marines because you're right. It's like pre-boot camp is what they're doing.
I mean, honestly, I think there was a quote where it's like the backbone to the U.S. military is football because it teaches training, like it introduces the whole idea of training camp and like basic training like to a much wider spread base.
Anytime we talk about high school football coaches, I always have to mention the legend from Libertyville, Illinois, Dale Christensen. Dale Christensen, I think I've told this story on this podcast once, if not twice before, but it's always worth it. He was a big fan of motivational techniques. He was a real football guy. A high school football coach in Libertyville, Illinois, frightened and horrified his team by staging a fight that ended with phony gunfire, fake blood, and his son believing that his father had been shot. So Dale Christensen arranged a fake fight between two of his players. He stepped into the altercation. 2 shots rang out. The coach fell to the floor with a red stain on his shirt. And then Christensen bounced up several seconds later and announced that the shooting was bogus to motivate his team. The players had already scattered, seeking cover or an escape. And witnesses said that as his father lay on the floor, Reed Christensen, his son, a linebacker, said, "My dad's been shot." I ran for my life. Obviously, the shock of the idea we were going to die overshadowed any point he was trying to make. Christensen told school officials as the incident in which a starter's pistol was used was a motivational exercise, said the superintendent.
Wasn't the funniest part was what he said about his wife? He was like, it came off much better with my wife.
Yeah. He pitched it to his wife first. He's like, I'm going to get these boys to really respond to me this week. I'm going to make them think I got shot breaking up a fight. And then there were allegations of racism that got thrown at him later too, because there were only like a couple African-American students at the school, and he picked one of them to be the kid with a gun that shot him. So it was not a great idea by Dale Christensen, but it's also like the ultimate example of a football guy, like high school football coach, a legend.
That's fucking hilarious.
I think
I wish I was there for that.
One of our first episodes, we just talked about crazy high school football stories.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yeah. Send me more DMs because I sometimes I might not use them on the show, but it brings me such joy going through the DMs that get sent with like stories of what their high school coaches did that I would really appreciate it if you send it over. So thank you guys. So shout out Dale. We have anything else in particular you guys want to get into? I have like 2 other stories that I saw in the news.
We got no planes
this morning.
We have planes. I just looked up the flight scanner over the United States, and there's just tons of planes in the air. So I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, do we have planes or do we not have planes?
I have seen no announcement of the resumption.
I saw an article that was early this morning because I went and I golfed and shot a 90, so it's no big deal. But it said FAA this is NBCnews.com, so I don't know how trustworthy it is, Big T. But it says FAA system restored after outage that halted all domestic flight departures in the U.S. So I think ground stop was lifted at 8 a.m. this morning, 8:50 a.m. this morning, and normal traffic operations were resuming gradually.
A guy that I went to college with, who I actually think listens to this podcast, works for the FAA and posted on his Instagram story today, O'Hare and Midway in Chicago, and it was literally, dozens and dozens of flights in those two little, basically where the airports are, and then just absolutely nothing else. So all of the planes stuck in Midway and O'Hare, and then there's just absolutely no flights going in or out of Chicago. Right? Like the two of the biggest airports in the country, there's just nothing.
Yeah, I checked I sent you guys the Flight Aware live flight tracker, and I saw planes flying around. So there may have been, do we have a time how long they were all down?
I don't know, but this is why we need high-speed rail.
This is why we need Buttigieg to get out of his wine cellar.
Yeah. Is he I don't know what Buttigieg does as a transportation guy. He's in charge of the FAA.
I follow this dude who and I don't know much about it. It's not much interest to me, but who just is on that dude's bumper like bruh. He is on Pete Buttigieg's head. There's just like big ass thread that he's been on his head like since Biden got elected. And he's basically saying that Buttigieg dropped the ball on all of this, and this is why all this stuff is happening. So I had to look into it, and so I don't know the validity of it. But
did you know when he was the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, they had so many potholes that the government never fixed that Domino's eventually their drivers were getting their cars messed up every time they went to deliver pizza because there were so many potholes. So they finally paid to pave the potholes.
Domino's did,
and that's who we elected, or not elected, but appointed the transportation secretary.
So he basically got appointed transportation secretary because he dropped out and endorsed Biden when it looked like Bernie was going to put up a fight against Biden. There was that. You remember that day when like everybody dropped out at once to consolidate behind Biden? He was like one of the first ones to do that. Now, the haters out there might be like, "Hey, PFT, you're biased on the situation." Because there might be a picture of me having dinner with Mayor Pete floating around on the internet. But to them, I would say I didn't want that picture to be taken in the first place. So I would like you to kindly not bring that up as a gotcha moment for me. So
wait, dinner with Mayor Pete?
Yeah. So what happened was I was hanging out with my friend Tommy, Arian, Tommy, and Deezus. So we were hanging out, and then we got invited to go to dinner. A mutual friend of mine, Tommy's, was working with Mayor Pete, and they're like, "Hey, Mayor Pete's like a couple doors down. He had just been on Diaz de Miro." They're like, "Do you guys want to come over?" So we came over, we sat down, we had a couple appetizers. He asked me for some fantasy football advice, and then I was like, "Okay, I got to go," because I had to get back to work. I leave, and then because I didn't want a picture to be taken because I was not like endorsing Mayor Pete. I think he seems like a nice enough guy. I don't know enough about his policies. I'm not a politician, so I didn't want to seem like I was endorsing anybody. And so, but then they just grabbed like all of us before we left, and then it's like me, Jesus, Miro might have been there too, and Mayor Pete in this picture in this one Midtown Manhattan restaurant. And then I was like, oh God, people are gonna absolutely hate me for that.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Send it to the group, yo.
What the fuck?
Shout out to Mayor Pete, yeah.
I did interview him. I interviewed him for like 45 seconds before one of the debates one time. Basically,
I don't think it's that bad, honestly.
I think he's a nice enough guy.
Oh, you replied to this photo just with a question mark? Oh man.
What a crew.
Yeah, so I did. I left before the check came.
Nice.
Did you order anything? Anything for dinner?
I found this thread on Twitter. It's Pete Buttigieg like petting his dog, and it says, "So far, Buddy seems to be winning my birthday." And PFT responded, "Sick brag that it's your birthday." And this makes me cringe. Pete Buttigieg responded, "So, what'd you get me?"
Nice.
Did I say anything back?
Did he send like a winky face?
Doesn't appear so. No.
Yeah, I can't reply to that.
Did you?
Oh, Charlemagne's in this picture. I forgot that Charlemagne was there too.
Oh shit, he is.
Oh, what a wild time that was.
And tweeted out by Malcolm Gladwell.
Wait, yeah, is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
Malcolm Gladwell's a really good friend of Tommy's.
like the Malcolm Gladwell?
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming there aren't two ambiguous Malcolm Gladwells.
But like, holy shit. Is Malcolm Gladwell a fan of yours, PFT?
One time my grandma hit me up because she's a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell, and I guess she was like listening to one of his speeches or one of his podcasts or something, and he mentioned my name in terms of like a satirist, and so she was like, "Oh my God, Malcolm Gladwell said your name." But I think it was right after I had this dinner, so I was like fresh on the top of his head.
Whoa.
And Mayor Pete's.
And Mayor Pete's, yeah. So this is not an endorsement, as we covered on nanodosing on Tuesday. I'm a Republican, so not endorsing Mayor Pete.
Where were we? Oh, the IRS might get banned. No, I know that's all just trying to make the Dems look bad in the Senate.
There's something else. I don't know. We're getting rid of gas stoves. What's up with that?
Yeah.
And AOC has one.
Big T, I'm glad that you brought this up because on this, I think that we can all find a lot of common ground. Like this is the dumbest fucking thing possible that anybody could ever try to do. Why would the Democrats, or like, I know he's not like a Democratic politician. He's an appointed guy that works for whatever administration it is or whatever department it is. I mean, talk about an easy way to get everybody to hate you. Like people love their fucking gas stoves. They love them. Like I didn't know that it was like a big stan culture until I started looking to buy a house. This was like back in 2013 when I was looking at house shopping down in Texas, and I started going into all these different kitchens and seeing like what they were featuring and all this stuff. People care a lot about their ranges, about like a Viking range or like a fancy like Wolf range. It's a big deal to a lot of people.
Oh, you know what else?
For those that don't know, can you fill us in that don't know, like what is going on with gas stoves?
Yeah, so there was a recommendation put in place to phase out gas stoves in America. So saying that gas stoves, kids are 12% more likely to grow up with asthma if they live in a home with a gas stove, because of more like the combustible, like more like actual smoke, and also just the gas will leak out at a very slow rate even when the stove isn't being used. So 12% higher probability of childhood asthma. And there was some other stuff that they mentioned too, aside from like normal safety issues. But at the same time, like people like this is more of an issue than pit bulls are to people. People love their stoves way more than they love their dogs.
But also, that's totally, those stats are totally skewed by socioeconomic issues.
We should run those. We should run that poll. What does America love more, stoves or dogs?
Dogs, 100%.
Well, I guess it would be food or dogs.
No, but the thing is, gas stoves are.
That's crazy. It's even
No, but in older apartment buildings and older houses, gas is what's used. You're not getting any electric stovetops in older, like in poor areas and in different so that asthma correlation probably has to do with smoking, which is more like that's a stat.
There are
that's
other
easily,
variables there that aren't
like,
being tested. Yeah.
Like stats, you can throw out stats on anything, and it just doesn't explain the real underlying cause of like.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's saying they're the sole cause of asthma, but it could be a contributing factor. Is probably what they're saying.
Did you see?
Is probably true. That's why I don't get though. Why are people so reluctant to change? Like we all know the energy that we're using is not that good for us, and it's not that good for the environment. So like we know slowly but surely we got to change. Like why when somebody's like, "Yo, let's start thinking about other things than stoves," and people are like, "Fuck that! I want my like why is that? I don't understand." Like
if we really gave a fuck about the environment, we'd start putting in nuclear power plants because that is literally the cleanest fuel possible.
I thought you were going to say nuclear powered stoves, and I'm on board. Every American gets a tiny piece of uranium to keep inside their kitchen.
Did y'all see AOC tweeted, "Did you know that ongoing exposure to NO2 from gas stoves is linked to reduced cognitive performance?" and she has posted pictures on her Instagram numerous times of her in front of her gas stove in her house.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Which, to be fair, does not discredit her claim.
She said, all right, so I got the article up right now. It was Biden-appointed U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commissioner Richard Trumka Jr., and it was an interview that he did with Bloomberg. And he said that the household appliance is a hidden hazard and products that can't be made safe can be banned. But besides the ban, other options include setting standards on emissions from the appliances. So it sounds like he was saying that we need to start phasing them out, or at least nerfing them. We need to nerf gas stoves and then incentivize people to buy electric stoves by offering like a tax rebate or a credit for any person that purchases an electric stove. Joe Biden, President Brandon today came out and said he does not support a ban on gas stoves. It was
he's big oil. What do you mean?
Yeah, it's Trumka Jr. was the guy that said it. So Big T and President Joe Brandon, handshake, finding some common ground.
Air fryers are better.
Air fryers
are
is
pretty good.
elite.
I love my air fryer.
If no one,
do they make like jumbo air fryer, like big ass air fryers, like
Mine's
stove size air fryer?
Mine's too small. I need a bigger one.
That is the problem with air fryers, is that they're kind of small.
You just invented an oven, Arian. A convection oven.
Well, I mean,
that's what it is.
Oh, stroke of genius! What you say?
No, you're. It's very smart. But yeah, the convection oven is the one that's got like the fans inside of it, and it circulates the air around better. That's why an air fryer is so good, because it moves that air around.
I don't have a microwave or a toaster, so I cook literally everything in the air fryer. I had Pop-Tarts in the air fryer yesterday. Delicious.
Ooh,
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
You know what? So
nice, little crispy, like little. Yeah,
Still
yeah.
soft
I
on
did.
the inside.
You know what's crazy? I know you probably ain't into it, but like kale. If you cook kale in an air fryer, bro, it's like it gives this crispy, like, oh my god, and you can season it. It's like really fucking good, dog.
kale's dope. You know what else I've been doing? I've just started to drink coffee, like consistently. It's now a ritual every morning, and I just found a crispy cream.
Wait, Billy, I'm curious to know, since you referred to it as a ritual, I'm going to just do a quick dive inside Billy's head real quick. Who online told you that like it was evolutionary advantageous to like wake up with a hot drink of coffee in the morning, and how like it's spiking some sort of internal metabolic reaction? Because I know that there's something, when you use the word ritual, I know that there's something behind that.
No, I actually just I got a coffee maker for Christmas, and I just was like, well, I might as well use it. So I got some Stella Blue, which was free K-Cups in the office, and I just drank some coffee, and I realized this is actually a lot, like, for days I'm either working out later in the day or I'm not drinking pre-workout the second I wake up, or I'm just running in the morning. Like, it's such a nice buzz. And
what, coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, duh.
I know. I just used to drink pre-workout in the morning, or tea. I don't know. So I just started trying it, and I started liking it. And then I found a Krispy Kreme place on my way home to pick up some Krispy Kreme. And I just get a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. I put them in my fridge, and then I put the one Krispy Kreme donut a day in my air fryer, and I drink coffee with the Krispy Kreme donut. It is like fucking, like, literally cures, like, makes you want to wake up.
Billy just turned 46. Like how Big T says he can't wait to be 46. Billy got there before him in this exact moment in time.
Coffee's great.
I drank
Peaking too soon.
Have you not turned 46 yet?
No, I'm waiting patiently.
I know, but I'm just saying Billy got there before.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to enjoy the fruits of being 47 at 25. That defeats the purpose.
Oh, true.
You gotta start getting on kids then. If you said you wanted to be at a high school football game, right?
Yeah, so like you could have kids at 32.
What's that math? It would be 30, right? 30 for they would be 16. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta start thinking about it. You can start putting it in a little oven.
We'll be
air
fine.
fryer.
That's 6 years from now.
I'm just saying, start thinking about it.
Sometimes I forget how young Big T is.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'll be 26 in a little bit, though. That ain't that young.
When's your birthday, Kaya?
May.
Me and him are almost birthday twins.
You remember Big T didn't want anybody knowing when his birthday was?
Yeah. He's come a long way.
Yes.
Sometime in May.
Also, we should say, speaking of birthdays, happy birthday to Billy.
Happy early birthday.
It's on Friday.
It's Billy's birthday tomorrow. If you're listening to this Thursday, it's Billy's birthday tomorrow. So tell Billy happy birthday.
Thanks,
He's
guys.
25 now.
No, 24.
24 now.
Don't
Sorry,
age
my
me.
bad.
25's halfway to 30. That's halfway through your 20s. And turning 24 scares the shit out of me because I'm about to be halfway through my 20s and I literally still feel 18.
Yeah, I know. I feel that sometimes too.
Isn't it you always feel 10 years younger than you are?
Yeah, I feel like
Something
I'm about.
that.
I feel like I'm 30 right now.
How old are you?
But I'm 37, almost 38.
That's crazy.
Yeah, how old do you feel like you are, Arian?
That's an interesting question, man, because I see the number and I'm like, I don't feel like that. But then I see other 36-year-olds and I'm like, I don't look like that. And so it's like a weird, I don't know, like when you see when you watch Naked and Afraid or something like that, you'll see the 36-year-olds on there. I'm like, my nigga looks 50. Like, why do you look so weathered? I don't understand. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel young and spry, man. I guess like I can do pretty much everything I have done except for at the same level, training every day. But I feel good, man. I don't really have too much, but I feel, let's say, about 31, 32.
All right, you, Big T.
I mean, I don't feel necessarily, but like if I went back and I was like a sophomore in college right now, I would kill it. Like I would I would destroy being 19,
Would you drink if you had to go back again?
No, I don't drink that much now. I'm just not like, I just don't not.
So how would you kill it? What would you do different?
I would just like, I'd be like, yeah, I got this shit. Like I would own it.
What would you do?
I don't know, but I just know that if I was 19, I would be like, this is my element right now.
If I could go
I
back.
would go back to college. I'd have a future podcaster shirt that I would wear, and people would be like, damn, that guy's going to be cool. Also, what's a podcast?
What's a podcast?
Honestly, if I went back to freshman year of high school knowing everything I know now, I think I could be in the NFL.
Okay.
I know that sounds
What
crazy.
would you do?
I would train differently. I would concentrate on different things. I'd concentrate more on technique and schematic stuff. And I think I could be in the NFL. Or at least D1.
Yeah, you could have gone to Rutgers.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I would have played out a couple things differently.
What
if you went to Rutgers?
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, I see Arian and PFT, and I'm like, y'all are pretty young dudes. And then I think about the fact that y'all were in college in 2004.
What?
And I'm like,
We were in kindergarten.
that's a long time ago.
That was like
love
the
how they
first
say
year
that.
I remember.
2004. I'm like, yo, that shit was,
And even to me,
shit was a
2004
wild time. We was
doesn't
turning
sound
out,
like
Big
it was
T.
as long ago as it was.
No, 2004 was it wasn't that long ago. 2004 was
It was
the
a
world
while
was
ago.
pretty much
It
the
was
same.
20 years ago.
No, the world was almost exactly the same as it is now. You just didn't have iPhones. That's the only difference.
Whack.
Everyone
you
liked
think
each
of-
other.
No, they didn't.
That's not true at all.
No, they didn't.
You just didn't know how much you hated other people because you weren't online all the time.
Yeah, you weren't exposed to everyone's thoughts all at the same time, but there were still message boards. So like everything that you see on Twitter right now is just a big, it's the next evolution of message board culture. None of this is new. Though, like the Elon Musk saga, all that stuff, like this has all happened before. The complaining about being banned and shadow banned. This is just what happens when you get an online community together. So even though we didn't have Twitter back then, this is exactly what happened in like the mid 2000s, just on like very like siloed instances. So it would be, dedicated to certain points of interest as opposed to one giant site that everybody used.
Huh.
But not that much different. The world was pretty much the same.
2004 was the first like time I gained
Consciousness
of what the year was. I remember that specifically. I think
What was your first memory?
I just remember, I very vividly remember the Christmas of 04.
So almost 05.
Yeah.
Did you get anything good?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the presents. I just remember the people, the place, the fun.
04, my Christmas, I think we went to the Cotton Bowl that year. Yeah, went to the Cotton Bowl. So Dallas, Texas, I believe we were. Yeah, we was in Dallas.
Who was that against?
Texas A&M. I was redshirting though, so I was chilling.
138-7.
Yeah.
Nice. Remember 04, Joe Gibbs came back. That was huge. So what's crazy is like Billy's remembrance of Joe Gibbs, the coach, is almost identical to my remembrance of Joe Gibbs, the coach, his original first time around. How crazy is that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was
say that one more time.
So Joe Gibbs was a coach of the Washington Redskins until 1992, 93, I believe. So I remember him being the coach from the point where I was like 5 until the point where I was like 8 or 9, whenever the case may be, when he left. And then he came back in 2004. And so Billy would know Joe Gibbs as an NFL coach from like 2004 to 2007, just how I knew him as a coach the first time around from like 1989 when I could first start to remember until like 1992.
Oh, you know what else I remember from 04? The ALCS.
Okay.
I very vividly remember
Aaron Boone.
I remember
That was
just
2003.
I remember my father yelling about the Yankees in 04. Another core memory. You remember what happened? The breakdown.
2004. Was that the comeback?
Yeah, that's when the Red Sox came back against the Yankees.
Yeah, that was a great series. I was at Game 7 in New York. I was in like down the first baseline. It was cool.
What were you doing there?
I was being a bandwagon Red Sox fan at the time.
Nice.
You couldn't help but be a bandwagoner. It was a different world back in 2004, Billy. Like, people weren't sick of Boston sports fans at all. They were like the lovable losers. So that's how long ago. Now, when you say it that way, like, that's the best way to think about how long ago 2004 actually was. Like, Boston, they were underdogs in just about every sport. Yeah, they were pretty good in football, but they weren't the Patriots that we know now. So they hadn't won the World Series in like 93 years, however long it was.
1918 used to still get chanted at games.
Oh yeah. There was a dude that was running around the concourse in Yankee Stadium dressed up as Babe Ruth, but a ghost, just putting a curse on everybody.
That rocks.
And so my brother and I went to that game. We got there right after Johnny Damon. I believe he had a leadoff home run in Game 7, and then it was just a whopping.
Huh.
Crazy times.
Wow. Early 2000s are wild.
They were pretty fun, honestly. I liked the early 2000s a lot. Like, social media just started. You had like a little sprinkle of Facebook here and there. Digital cameras were a thing.
MySpace was popping.
Yeah, MySpace was hot. Let's get MySpace Tom on the podcast.
That'd be lit.
Special guest next week.
He chimed in with that whole Elon Musk thing, I think, on Twitter. He did.
I mean, MySpace Tom, I don't know anything about the guy personally, but I feel like if I went through the same thing he did, where you sell an idea for like $500 million, you just never hear from that person again.
That's the way he did it. He did it correctly. He just got his bread and just started traveling the globe. That's fire.
Yeah.
We can cut this if you don't want to, but we not going to say who it is, but we have a very cool guest next week.
Yes, we do have very cool guests next week. Let's keep this part in.
Yeah.
But we won't say the person's name.
It's not MySpace Tom.
I'm so excited to pee.
It's definitely not MySpace Tom, but
who is MySpace?
like a legend.
What compels Billy to say shit like that? Like,
I don't know.
I'm so excited I have to pee. What the fuck?
I don't know.
What
Tough to
compels?
get inside that kid's head.
Yeah, what compels Billy to say shit that he says like every single
It's
day?
just classic football, man.
So we're gonna get to the discussion about the cult NXIVM, which is such a tough thing to pronounce. Every time I see it, I forget how to pronounce it. But it's called NXIVM. We're gonna talk about it in a little bit. But there was one thing. Hang on, what was I gonna? I think I've got COVID brain, guys. I've got COVID brain. I swear to God, yesterday, I couldn't remember who Sean McVay was.
What?
Yeah. I was like trying to think. I was like, who's the coach of the Rams? And I couldn't think of his name. It took me like 5 minutes to think of Sean McVay's name.
That shit just got me. I was like, who the fuck is Sean McVay? I was thinking that the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton. I was thinking of him when you said that.
But like that's concerning to me because like I know Sean McVay is the coach of the Rams. I talk about Sean McVay multiple times a week. It's like a pretty common thing that I'll discuss. So that's how I know that COVID's real. That and also I just forgot entirely what I was going to say about the sex cult guys.
Damn.
Could be a.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say now. So we were talking about Billy who just got up to go to the bathroom.
Who, by the way, is back now. That was the fastest. How'd you even have time to walk to the bathroom and back here?
He ran. I bet you he sprinted. Did you run?
No, I just was brief.
You're nice with it?
Yeah.
So Billy was trying to book a guest for today's show, which I really appreciate. I appreciate the grind. Billy's always looking to make the show better. And the guy that he was going to interview was going to be like a guy that worked at a mail store that was close by to this cult, which I appreciate.
You know what?
I appreciate the idea, but Billy, it took you a very long time to be able to articulate where this person worked and what he did and what his relationship was to the cult.
Did you just not want to admit that he just worked at UPS?
Yeah, but from what he said, he has a lot of information.
Yeah, but if he has that information, it was obtained illegally.
Yeah, but if we just have him on anonymously and just say it's a parody, I think we'd be fine legally.
If we say this guy's lying, we're good.
That will be our disclaimer for next week's show as well.
Honestly,
do not believe.
Let's pull this guy up, like see what he has to say, and if it's like crazy and like it's just a troll, just delete it.
I'm down to do that.
Yeah,
honestly,
what do we have to lose?
This isn't live.
Like, come on.
Let's let Bill cook.
All right, fine. We're gonna let Billy cook. Billy, you're gonna head this interview up, okay?
Why the fuck did you let him cook?
Billy cooking, and it's the beans and Pop-Tarts
on an electric stove.
You remember this PFT? You remember that radio flyer?
The wagon?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but they ordered that monster stew or whatever, and when they're in the kitchen, and that's one of the reasons why his stepdad beat the shit out of him, because they had that monster stew and they cooked it, and the food splattered like everywhere.
Yep. I have you guys seen the NyQuil chicken? I'm trying to force that to make a comeback.
I blogged the NyQuil chicken when it happened.
That was so gross.
Yeah, nobody was actually cooking it.
It actually was trending on TikTok. There's multiple people doing it.
Right, but I'm saying like people were doing it as a joke. It wasn't. They were doing it as like a look at this cool new thing that Zoomers are doing, and then a bunch of Boomers got upset about it because they didn't know that the Zoomers were just joking.
It was trending right around last Christmas when everybody got sick. I think. You know, when everyone got hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it back.
Do you want to bring this guy on? He's here.
Where's he?
Sure. Billy, you're leading this interview. Okay, so we're going to get to today's topic, the NXIVM cult. I saw the documentary Seduced. I saw the first 3 episodes. There are 4. The first 3 episodes are fantastic. Very, very interesting. So I'm just a sucker for cults in general. So I really enjoyed it. You can also watch The Vow. I think that's the HBO one. So cults are kind of hot in the streets right now. Like cult documentaries, there have been a bunch of good ones that have come out the last couple of years.
What's hotter in the documentary streets, cults or true crime? I guess cults are kind of true crime, but
Yeah.
but like murders.
No, I think right now it's true crime because of the Idaho
I think it's
stuff.
true crime. Yeah, I think. Well, not just that. Like I've seen a whole bunch. They have like the joints on Netflix that I always watch. They have like all kinds of different things. Like they had this one called I think I murdered somebody or something like that, or
I'm a
I killed
killer.
somebody or something. I'm a killer. There you go. Yeah. They have and there's like each episode is a different person.
Yeah.
And then you got the Jeffrey Dahmer shit that pops off. Like killing is interesting.
I'm totally blanking. Did we go over some of the new Idaho facts that came out
No.
I don't think
since
so.
we did the episode?
I don't think so.
Well, back to next. Well, don't want to derail NXIVM. But a lot of stuff
we can save that. We can save the Idaho talk.
for next.
But the NXIVM thing, let's get to it. Because I'll be honest, I'm starting to get COVID brain. Bill, you missed it. I was telling everybody else that I forgot Sean Payton's name.
Nope,
yesterday.
you just fucked up again.
Oh, Sean McVay's name. Fuck.
You sure did, didn't
See?
you?
I mean,
COVID
to be fair,
brain
to be,
is real.
To be fair, I said Sean.
You brought up
Payton.
Sean Payton.
And
yeah.
so,
But
yeah,
I mean, you did clearly.
But I was trying to think of who the coach was for the Los Angeles Rams yesterday, and I couldn't. It took me like 5 minutes. So it's a real thing. So I'm trying to get this out of the way. I might have to duck out in a little bit actually because my stomach is not feeling great right now. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about NXIVM. NXIVM, it was a cult. It was founded by Keith Raniere. Am I saying that right? Keith Raniere?
I think it's Raniere.
Keith Raniere,
Raniere.
grade
E
A
at the
creep.
end.
Grade A creep.
Yeah, he's an all-time creep. So he is a great case for abolishing the gifted and talented program
Yeah.
in elementary schools across the country. Because like he was told when he was a young kid that he was special and that he was gifted, and so then he developed a Jesus complex out of that, where he actually did believe that he was better than everybody else, and so he got into sales initially right off the bat. But it wasn't just sales; he got into like multi-level marketing stuff.
The funniest thing was when he was drawing on the whiteboard, he was literally drawing pyramids. It was fucking Michael Scott in The Office drawing pyramid schemes. It was literally he was literally drawing a pyramid scheme on the whiteboard. It was hilarious.
I mean,
well, let me butt back up at you, real quick, PFT. Well, let me just ask you, like, what is your Venn diagram between people who are gifted and then like really big pieces of shit? Because in order to start cults, like you have to be charismatic, you have to be witty, you have to be smart. Like there's just no idiots really doing it, right? So it's like he was talented and he was gifted. He's just a piece of shit. Would you agree?
I would agree with that. I think it's more along the lines of if you get labeled gifted and talented, you should also get punched in the face every now and again, just so that you check that ego a little bit.
This is another example
So get the non-talented people, non-talented kids, put them on roll call. Hey, we got some talented kids over here. Free reign. Go ahead and punch them whatever you need.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, we'll put you in a gifted and talented program where we'll give you higher level classes. But I do think that there's a danger that a lot of kids get put in those classes and they think that they're entitled to being special for the rest of their lives. And so what there should be a program where the non-gifted kids get to punch one gifted kid in the face every like semester. And so then that way the gifted kids know like, hey, don't fuck with the masses.
You know, honestly, this goes right back to the ideology that the nerds were always actually the bad guys in all these movies, like stuffing them into lockers and stuff. There was a real reason for that. The only thing that was stopping these like kids from like becoming Sam Bankman-Fried and robbing the whole world was dudes bullying them. So, like,
the balance of
like if there had been a football camp that took place next door to NXIVM and they like intermingled every now and again, that would have kept Keith in more check.
Well,
I think he would have been slapped a few times.
No, but Keith probably literally think about it. Dudes wouldn't fuck with him. Like his whole inner circle were like women. So like dudes didn't fuck with him. So he just tried to take advantage of women. All dudes knew he was full of shit. And like if he was in that, if there was a football, like let's say the Houston Texans was right next to NXIVM, they'd be probably stealing all the chicks and saving them.
I don't think it's the own you think it is though, Billy. Like dudes were too smart to sniff out his bullshit, but women fell for it. Like I don't think that's the own you think it is, man.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think guys are, I think guys.
The only people that want to hang out with this dude was a horde of women.
Yeah, but I feel like dudes can figure out if a guy's a creep faster than, because we've been around more creeps.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the bad take.
I think you ask enough women, Billy, that most women get creep vibes pretty easy. Like they've got a good creep detector.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got creep vibes from this guy the second he got on screen. I didn't even know who he was before we watched his documentary.
Yeah, but you also knew going into it he was in jail for being a sex cult leader.
I actually had no idea about this NXIVM case before going in.
So he was told when he was a kid, I think his dad told him that he was superior to everybody else.
Yeah.
And so then he thought that he was like a god overnight. And then he got into multi-level marketing stuff, which there's so much crossover. Basically, the entire company was a pyramid scheme. It was multi-level marketing, but there's so much crossover. If any of you out there have ever worked in a multi-level marketing scheme, or you've known a friend that's gotten drawn into an MLM, they're astounding similarities. You want to talk about like the Venn diagram? The Venn diagrams between cults and multi-level marketing programs, there's a big overlap in the middle. And like Amway, all those companies that started to get big in like the 1990s.
What's the makeup one?
Mary Kay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
There's another
I think Mary
one I'm
Kay is
thinking
MLM.
of.
There's a lot of.
I don't know, but yeah.
Arbonne.
I'll think of it later. I knew somebody who did it.
Mary Kay is a big one. The pink car.
I like to think that I can spot a friend of mine that's getting drawn into an MLM deal on Facebook like a mile away. I can tell when the posts start to change. Like somebody that I knew back in high school, I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. They're working for Beachbody. It's like they start to like change entirely their public persona. But this dude was really into multi-level marketing stuff, and then he decided, like, why do I have to sell a product? Why can't the product just be like a curriculum that I make up all the time? And then also, I'm gonna have sex with a lot of people. But he called himself Vanguard, which is that's a pretty lame name, I think. I didn't like that name, Vanguard.
Do you think Andrew Tate's running this?
That's a pretty cool name. I don't know what
Vanguard?
Yeah, I kind of like that name.
Vanguard accounts. What is a Vanguard?
You know, you look up the definition of Vanguard, and you'll probably like it then.
Isn't it a Call of Duty thing?
Isn't it doesn't it come from the Vangarian Guard who like guarded the Eastern Roman Empire, and they were all Vikings? Vanguard. Let me check.
I think Avon is the company I was thinking
that
of.
That is an MLM as well.
A vanguard is a group of people leading the way in new developments or idea. Guard from before plus.
It's also like the front line. It's also like the front line.
What's a forefront of action or movement? Okay, so it doesn't have anything to do with the Vangarian Guard.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like the front line, leading the pack, but the first line of defense. I think it's a cool name.
I think he was saying that he was like protecting everybody in the cult, and he was the vanguard or whatever. But he was the father, and he set up this series of workshops, and the entire premise of the series of workshops would be for people to go to improve themselves, and that could be anything. That's what's so like brilliant about it is everybody, if you ask them and you like pry deep down inside, you can find that there's something that somebody's not happy with in their life, whether it's like anxiety about something or if it's like a fear of flying. It doesn't matter. Somebody has something that they'd like to improve. So this guy's like, my curriculum can cure whatever it is that you feel fucked up about. And so then he would get them to go to his little seminars, and they're very intense. So they would like they would make you sit up in front of the entire crowd, and you'd have to talk about like your deepest, biggest insecurities, your fears, your flaws. and they would tell you just like let go of all your inhibitions. Don't try to prevent your mind from going to an uncomfortable place. Get weird with it, and then they would get you really emotional, and then they would break you down, and then somebody would try to build you up a little bit, and then the only way that you can continue improving yourself is if you were to come to next month's course, which is like $2,000. And if you don't come to next month's course, then everyone's going to hate you, and you're not going to have this built-in group of friends that you thought that you had at this seminar. So really, it preyed on people with like deep vulnerabilities and insecurities. And it's like it's genius in its simplicity how it got started.
That's actually why a lot of these cults, and they follow like the same kind of blueprint, is a lot of the stuff that they do like takes pages out of like, you know, psychology books, like where if you want to address like trauma or pain that you have, like you have to hit it face on and dive into it and really look at yourself and stuff like that. And that's what they're doing, right? They're teaching you how to like almost self-soothe, or not self-soothe, but kind of look inside of yourself and address the issues rather than hiding from them. Like, and so when you do that, like you said, they feel vulnerable in front of other people, which can add an element of like, this is a family unit. They care about me, you know, and then they build you up. And so it's like really brilliant stuff. And then they draw you in, and then bam, fucking leader.
The separation of family and friends is something that is, they kept talking about that. And it was kind of crazy how they did it to their example, playing on her name.
Yeah. Yeah, with India.
Yeah.
So I talked about the time that I went to the Landmark Forum on this show. It was essentially the same thing as what this Raniere guy was doing. There was no sex stuff there, but my boss made me go to one of these like self-help seminars back when I was probably 25, 26 years old. And I was like, this thing is the biggest crock of shit ever. They made me sit in a hotel like lobby, not a lobby, but like, you know, the little like ballrooms they have off to the sides of meeting rooms. There were probably like 50 people in there, maybe 100. And they gave us the most uncomfortable chairs in the world. They kept cranking the temperature. So they would turn it real low. Like they would put it like 60 degrees, and then they would turn it super high up to like 85 degrees because they wanted to keep everybody uncomfortable in the room. And it would start at like 8 a.m. and it would end at like 9 p.m. And you weren't allowed to talk to your family while you were there. So it was like the same principle exactly. And they didn't want you to talk to your family. And they would tell you as you're going through these like little breakout groups that they have, like, don't listen to that voice in your head that's telling you that this is uncomfortable or that you shouldn't be here, because that's the person that has gotten yourself into this mess to begin with. So they do a very good job of like trying to disarm your critical thinking in a situation like this. And it's easy for people to fall into, especially if you're like emotionally vulnerable. They said that this is like getting 10 years of therapy in 10 minutes, which by the way is bullshit. That's not true. But that's the level of like intensity of the emotions they would bring out in people. But isolating people and keeping them uncomfortable, keeping them away from friends and family that would ask them questions like, why are you doing this? Or like, what's in it for you? This doesn't seem like a good use of your time. They don't want anybody asking any sort of critical questions. So yeah, they isolate you and they make it so that your only validation can come from that group and by taking like future courses with that group.
And so this is the scary part of it. Like when you go like, you know, because I've had some family members who have spent like a lot of time in like therapy, right? And so one so much so is like they was at a like what they call like a ranch for like a month, right? And it's like it's like a nice area, and it's with counselors and therapists, and you sit there and you address all your problems, and they do the same thing. They isolate you. They take your phone away, you know, all your vices, and they make you sit with everything. And so it has like similarly eerie elements to it, right? But obviously not as well intended. And I think that's the scary part, is like to the untrained or somebody vulnerable, it looks like that they're getting positive benefits from it. And so that's why they continue to go back and say this is the only way to do it.
They also had like these little modules that they would break down into like different seminars they would do. So there would be some that were just for women, some that were for men, some to address like certain things, some to address your like career, some to address your personal life. And then they had one special seminar that was the We're Not a Cult module that you could take, where it was if you had any misgivings about NXIVM, don't worry about that. They've got an entire curriculum where they just explain to you why they're actually not a cult, which that's red flag number one. If somebody's like, hey, we're not a cult, then like Texas A&M, if they have to like convince you that it's not a cult, chances are you're looking at a cult there.
Having to answer the question says more than what the answer is.
I would agree.
Also,
And Big T, would you also agree that Texas A&M gives off a lot of NXIVM vibes?
Oh yeah, Texas A&M and Clemson, both cults.
Go on about Clemson.
I mean, they have a false prophet leading them.
It's true.
by the way,
Albo?
Oh yeah,
there is an
that
insane.
guy's. But no, Texas A&M real cult, like actual very cultish vibes.
By the way, there is an insane amount of creeps that come from like around Brooklyn. Epstein, Weinstein, just north of Brooklyn, Raniere, and I bet there's like I think Woody Allen, who also got in trouble for some pedophilia stuff. Like they're all from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
What the
Brooklyn's
hell's
also
happening
like
in
one of the 10 biggest cities in the entire country.
I'm just saying, what the fuck's going on in Brooklyn?
Wait,
This is the opposite of the argument you made about pit bulls.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just.
He only has one logic though. He's only one.
No, I'm just saying, like Raniere. Well, that's geographic. I mean, like when they're like, "Where's Raniere from?" and then it's like Brooklyn. I'm like, what the fuck?
The logic would be, Billy. The logic would be you'd have to connect those two. Make it make sense.
I would say
It's just
Ohio is up there too. You know, we found a lot of serial killers from Ohio.
Whoa.
a lot of sex, weird sex people. Brooklyn.
Yep.
What was Brooklyn's Google or Pornhub search?
Yeah.
Or did they just do New York City as a whole?
I think it's just in New York State.
Okay. How should they do it by borough? Let me see.
Yeah.
So they said that on the last day of these seminars, they would put them in these EM modules, and that's when they'd really break people down. Like your first time there, that's when they'd get you and have you do like a one-on-one hyper personal conversation in front of everybody. And that's when they said, like, this is when your life will change. On this last day, you'll experience a breakthrough. And what they're doing is they were just like suggesting to people that they're going to feel better. They were just telling them, like, everybody feels better on the last day. You're going to have a moment where it's going to be great. And then people sit down and they go through it and they think that they've had this like breakthrough moment. They told me, I remember when I did this seminar, they told me that everybody pops on day 3. You pop, things will just change in your brain like a bubble, and instantly you'll be different. And then they made the entire room go quiet and close their eyes for like 10 minutes. No one was allowed to talk. And then one by one, people just started laughing in the room. And I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is everybody laughing? And then the leader of the organization was like, this is everybody popping and breaking through and having their landmark experience. I swear to God, all these self-help things are the exact same. They are like multi-level marketing, just the power of suggestion. And most of them stop there. Most of them just like drain your money and turn you into a weirdo, but they don't go to the next step that NXIVM did. Not saying that it's good, like any of these self-help things are good, but they don't go to that next step. They also talked about, what's his name, Tony Robbins, a little bit. Do you guys know anyone that's been to Tony Robbins' seminar?
Yep.
No, but he's getting big on TikTok.
He's kind of the same thing.
He's reinventing himself. He's gonna have packed out stadiums soon.
I'm sure he will, but he's kind of the same thing. Like, people spend thousands of dollars every year to go to like more Tony Robbins seminars because the only thing that can fix whatever's wrong in your life is by giving Tony Robbins more money and going to another one of his seminars. I had a friend that went there or that was working at a hotel that he was doing a seminar at like a couple years ago. And my friend caught like 5 different people jacking each other off at the Tony Robbins seminars in various parts of the hotel. Swear to God.
Wait, I just got distracted. researching Brooklyn cult leaders because there's actually a couple. What?
Yeah, at the Tony Robbins seminar, everyone
in the hotel.
Yeah, everyone jacks each other off in like the lobbies, out in the gardens, by the pool. They were just jacking each other off.
What are you talking?
Girl on guy on guy. I don't know. In the breakout parts where like they were not in the actual seminar, they would get a break for lunch, and then next thing you know, there'd be just a dude jacking another dude off out in the lobby.
You went to this?
No, Bill, I didn't go to it. My friend works at the hotel that this seminar is at every single year, and she's like, every year there are people that jack each other off at this.
Intense, man.
Whoa.
I know.
Are you thinking about going, Billy?
No, I mean, like, I guess in different ways, people jack each other off at all types of conventions. Like,
yeah,
like
if you're gonna go to a seminar, that's pretty.
Like you,
at least you're getting something out of it.
Like, hey, you're really great in your field. Like,
do seminars work otherwise? Like, do you really like leave a seminar like enlightened? I've never been.
There were so many people that left my seminar enlightened, and they were like trying to sell their parents to come, trying to get their like brothers to come. It was honestly one of the more bizarre experiences in my life. Like I've been to what these first people, like, now I'm not talking about like the DOS level, but like the NXIVM, the lower level, like I've seen that firsthand, and people are just, they're willing to just turn off all critical thinking and make themselves feel like they're improving themselves just by spending money. Like, it's a very powerful drug. That's all I'm going to say. Very powerful drug.
The Men in Black quote. Men in Black quote. Person is smart. People are dumb.
So Raniere had all these different seminars that he would put you through. Honestly, the summer camps looked fun.
I wish they had like adult summer camps.
It was just his birthday
that's what
party.
That's what this was. They had archery, they had like swimming. It was summer camp.
Damn. We should throw a macrodosing summer camp. But just like actually no cult, just fun.
Yeah, just fun. Upstate New York is a perfect place to do it. I feel like that's where every sleepaway camp in America is located.
Like we there could be like multiple flag football games going on, basketball, like ultimate frisbee.
Play the championship game against the camp from across the lake.
Iron Man.
You want to have PE class.
Heavyweights.
Yeah, I miss PE class a lot. I do. 100%.
I know. I believe that for sure.
Yeah. Like the rec leagues just don't.
Squishy dodgeballs.
Yeah. Dodgeball would be fun. But with the OG like kickball dodgeballs that have better grip.
The big red Jones.
Yeah. Those are fun.
I've never gotten to play with those. Well, they had the squishy bullshit for us by the time we were in school.
Oh, I thought you just meant like you could never get on the field. I thought that's what that.
No, I was elite at dodgeball.
Okay,
I was a monster.
We're talking about kickball though.
Oh, okay. We were talking about dodgeball. I thought
dodgeball.
I thought you were talking about kick. Oh,
dodgeball is so fun.
Yeah, okay.
They would let you play dodgeball with the kickballs.
With those types of balls that have like that. You know that like corrugated pattern that was on the rubber balls. Those types of balls. Those were the best dodgeballs. But then they got
they bounce like a motherfucker.
Yeah. And if you get hit, your face is red.
Did you have rules where no head?
Never got hit in the face.
What? No, I hit other people.
I
get hit. I used to like. I don't know. Headshots happened, but
we went for the head. I grew up in that.
I went for the head. It wasn't legal. I didn't want I did go for people's heads, and then I would get kicked out of the game.
And it was gender neutral. Girls could get it. You better. You ever had them girls that they would just kind of sit and they would just sit there like this and like that. Prime. We would go after.
Yeah.
We wouldn't care.
I actually have a very distinct memory of hitting someone with glasses on and they cut their face.
I bet you laughed so hard at that.
No, I got in so much trouble.
He ran up to him and called him Four Eyes.
Yeah.
No, it's just flashbacks.
Nerd. What power rank the best PE specific piece of equipment that you guys used to use back in elementary school?
Oh, that's so easy.
Okay.
Parachute, number one.
The giant parachute?
What?
Getting under the parachute was the sickest day of all time.
What's pretty cool.
And number 2, the little scooters.
That's my pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The little like piece of plastic with the handles on each side.
Yeah.
The
You'd
knee
run over
boards,
your-
right? Were they called knee boards?
You'd run over your fingers.
Just cones. Just cones. Just those little,
That's awful,
the
Billy.
circular cones.
Really, Billy?
It's a bad
What?
pick.
What would you do?
Gator skin ball was still on the board, and you took cones.
So many
I'm just
things on the
talking-
board. You,
I'm just hitting nostalgia. We're not power ranking them. I'm just talking about stuff.
Boy
from my
picked
memory.
up. You picked up punter in the second round.
We are power ranking him. I said power rank
Yeah.
PE equipment.
He took who was the dog shit kicker that the Bucks drafted? In,
Okay,
like, the
well,
third round
I got
from
those.
Florida State.
I had the fun
No,
rubber
Guerrero.
ball, the rubber balls. I brought the rubber balls up. Those were sick.
Okay.
So, the ones that you'd play foursquare with.
Aguayo.
I'm gonna do not the not an equipment but an event. Y'all remember the presidential things?
Fitness
The
tests,
presidential fitness tests. Those were fun, man. Those were fun. I got it lit.
The sit and
Were you
reach.
presidential?
Come on, okay. I was top of the tops. Whatever. I don't remember because I remember there was red and blue, but I remember I was.
Presidential was blue. That was first, and then national was red. That was second. But the people that were really good athletes sometimes wouldn't win presidential because, like, the V-sit would fuck with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Stretching, the stretching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was BS. Some people were growing.
Some people be.
You never got presidential?
still scarred.
No, but some people were like growing
He was
in
D3.
flexibility.
Of course he didn't. He got
Wait, Billy, just a second ago back there said that after elementary school he could have made the NFL, but you couldn't even make presidential.
No, I said freshman in high school. If I went back now and knew what I knew now,
I'll bet you couldn't even do enough pull-ups.
I did 25
I did 25.
pull-ups.
Yeah, bitch.
What?
Whoa,
Matt Dog, you did 25 pull-ups?
Yeah, I was a beast.
Right. That's kind of lit, actually. That's kind of crazy.
wait.
Yeah, I had
Holy
this.
shit.
I had the grade record for my presidential test for pull-ups and chin-ups. Fuck with me.
Does it?
Whoa.
Does it still stand? Does
no,
it still
I can't
stand?
do it
Does
anymore. No, I was a gymnast though. I had to do all that all the time.
Oh, word.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I had 25 pull-ups and chin-ups.
You should get a CrossFit.
I'm into Pilates right now. I'm being a girl right now. CrossFit, people kind of scare me.
25 pull-ups is actually like insane.
Yeah, I was like a little 9-year-old just whipping them out.
Whoa.
I also want to give a shout out to Capture the Flag.
Yes.
That was my
God.
game
Goated.
as well.
the chains where you hold hands and try to from the jail to get touched.
I don't recall
Red
doing
Rover?
that, but
Is it Red Rover?
no, Capture the Flag where you had the two like hockey sticks and
No,
a cone.
I was talking about what Billy was talking about.
No, but
He's
you
talking
remember-
about a maneuver in Capture the Flag.
Yeah, you'd have the safe zone and then you'd have the jail. And if you had enough people in jail in the safe zone, you could make 2 chains and then touch each other. And then that would be freeing the people from the jail. And then it would cause a total crazy like storming of the flag and they wouldn't be able to tag everybody.
Has Capture the Flag been canceled yet for having jail? I'm researching.
I'm sure you can still play it. What else is there in elementary school?
Did you guys play the snowball fight?
Where you just
I don't know.
have a snowball fight?
No, you would put up cones, Billy's favorite, and then put yoga mats on either side of them to form what is it when you're in the
Oh, like a fort?
Like a barricade?
like a barricade, and then you would hide behind it, and it was kind of like dodgeball.
Oh,
You would hide behind the snowball or the snow
oh,
fort.
and they'd use those like pads, and they'd fold them sideways. You know
we
what
would
I'm
do
talking about?
cones and yoga mats and set it up.
Like the pads
What
that
was
you
your-
do the sit-ups on.
Yeah,
What was your guys'
yeah.
PE
Yeah.
teacher name? I feel like all PE teachers' names had cool names.
Mrs.
Chris,
I-
Chris O'Cleary, shout out.
See what I'm saying? All PE teachers got dope names. bro.
Mrs. Straw.
Mrs. Straw?
That's it. My guy's name was Mr. Swazo.
Mr.
Hell
Doherty.
yeah.
Mr. Doherty.
Mr. Doherty? Yeah. That's a good PE teacher name. I had 2, they were like co-teachers, and their names were Mrs. Stock and Mrs. Bond.
No way.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yo.
Ain't no way.
I swear.
That's fucking ridiculous.
I googled Chris O'Cleary and found out that she is in the Professional Disc Golf Association now.
Oh, nice.
That's a total gym teacher move. That
And
and
it
cup
says
stacking.
Atlanta, so I'm sure this is her career wins 16.
Wow.
So
Shout out to
pretty good.
shout out to her.
career earnings $7,100.
Wow.
So you're
That's not bad. That's got put in the top 1% of disc golfers.
yeah. Her next event is Atlanta's Hustle Ice in My Chains 2023.
You got to go to one of her events, Big T.
Yeah.
Seems like
Yo,
she's
this
pretty
is
good.
him. I just googled mine. He's assistant principal now at a high school. He done moved up.
I'm friends with mine on
Rod-
Facebook.
Rod Swazo. Shout out to
Get
you,
that
my guy.
pension.
I think I got to go throw up.
Okay.
Okay, well, you're more than welcome to come back after you puke.
All right,
Soft.
so proceed with the NXIVM shit. Bye.
Bye.
I hope he comes back.
That was abrupt.
He's not coming back, Billy.
I know, but like, what the hell? Just puke and rally. I don't.
He
Is,
has
puke,
COVID.
totally,
You know,
bro.
is puking like a COVID symptom?
I'm sure he's just like generally
Sick.
ill.
He's just sick. Like I have a pizza and I'm trying to wrap it up. There's a pizza right here. He got COVID.
I'm getting
You know what
hungry
saying?
too.
What kind of pizza?
I get like the meat lover, so I get Italian sausage, ground beef, and pepperoni on it. And then I like mushrooms and olives too.
Is it like a frozen pizza or from somewhere?
No, it's mod, M-O-D.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, I've heard of that. It's like
It's cool. It's like
It's like
because the best
LeBron's
pizza is no. His is
Blaze, but isn't it the same idea?
Blaze. It's kind of the same idea. Yeah, it's like thin slice. It's like the best you can get like from East Coast pizza. It's like it's a good substitute, but it's not the same. That's like the one thing I like when I go to New York. I always divulge.
You do. I've
Pizzas.
noticed that.
I just walk down the street, and any pizza shop does it. And every pizza shop, I'm gonna keep it a band. Every pizza shop I get recommended to, it's just exactly like the other pizza shop. Like it's just they're all good, but it's just like they're like, man, you need to go to Prince's on blah blah blah. And I went, and it's like, okay, it's cool.
Did
Like
you
it's
get,
way better than all the pizza.
Did you get the like big square from Prince Street?
No, I got a regular pizza.
Oh, well
Oh,
then
what? That's dumb.
we'll get you the real Prince Street pizza late couple
Wait,
weeks.
see, let's do it.
They got a gigantic spicy pepperoni square slice, and it's elite.
Is it deep? Is it a deep dish?
kind of.
Kinda.
It's
just
like
Sicilian.
style.
It's a
Yeah.
Sicilian.
we'll get it anyway.
And yeah, I'm with it.
I like
let's do it.
grandma. Grandma's the best.
Grandma style is
It's
good.
just like it's like a thinner Sicilian, and it's like pan pizza. It's good.
I had a good
um,
square slice the other day. I'll tell you. Like I'll let you guys know where it was.
Back to Raniere. He's creep. You just kept talking about doing bad stuff to babies.
Yeah.
Really fucked up.
Really fucked up. He preyed on women way more than I thought before watching the documentary. It was mostly women that were victims. I didn't realize how women focused it was coming from a male leader.
Yeah.
Like Janess.
Also, how much time in the day did he have to be like what do you think his like start like his lineup like was? Like you know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Like
mean?
it almost seems like there was way too many like I don't want to sound insensitive, but it sounds like there wasn't enough time in the week to abuse as many people as he did. It's kind of like crazy.
Well, it was a pyramid scheme. He had people doing it he was the top, and he had all of his people doing it, like the sisters and the what did they call her? The precinct? Not the precinct. The second lady in command.
But you know how there's the first level and then there's the second level?
Yeah, they just had everyone going down.
Yeah, but how many people were on the second level?
it was his
It was like
inner circle.
100.
His inner circle was only about 5 people. It was the 2 sisters. I think Laura was her name. Salzman.
Yeah. Also, was that lady the Salzman? Was she like? Was she?
She was basically the Ghislaine Maxwell type.
Yeah, but were they doing stuff?
Nancy.
I don't know if they were. I don't think they were doing stuff necessarily, but they were complicit together.
They were like, weren't they like, they were like recruiting and stuff like that.
Yeah. He was more focused on what it seems was preying on the weaker, younger individual rather than someone like her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but how is she complicit in this? Like, what was she getting out of it?
Money?
That's all?
Money, power.
What's it? That's all?
Money, power,
It's literally the
control.
root of every almost
issue.
every evil act ever. Like 98% of all evil acts is because of that.
And the most coveted thing on earth.
What was Ghislaine Maxwell getting out of helping Epstein?
Well, she was getting off too.
Sexually?
Yeah.
With Epstein
And
for a little bit.
no, they were like, they were doing like some partner in crime stuff on people.
I'm sure the Laura Salzman had filled her cup.
Jeez.
I'm sure she was fine.
She pled guilty to racketeering criminal conspiracy.
So she didn't do anything.
Well, that's a
Racketeering.
She
criminal
pled guilty to a crime.
Right.
She's
But
in
it was
jail.
just a money crime. She wasn't like,
She wasn't.
I'm
like,
sure they offered her a deal of you plead guilty on this and we won't
the
charge you with
sex
all the other
charges?
things we can.
Yeah.
the branding. For those who don't know, Raniere had a circle of women who were his inner circle who, he would routinely have sex with. And then under all those women, it was a pyramid scheme of sexual abuse. And those women would then go abuse other women by, getting collateral, which was a lot of like nudes and confessions and false confessions that they could use to blackmail them. And they also branded a lot of them with cauterizing tools, which is just so fucked.
that ended up being his initials that they didn't tell them.
Jeez.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy, dog. Like, why would you even want that? God, branding people, bro.
Because you're in a cult
That's
and you don't
crazy.
get it.
Andrew Tate's been tattooing. There
Women?
are women who are tattooed with Andrew Tate's.
Really?
Yeah.
City Girls down 1,000.
Where I don't think that qualifies, Maddie.
I don't
Where,
think. I think
where are they
they're,
at with
they're in
where they at with the
Romania. I don't think they're allowed to
agitation?
leave.
where are they at with the agitation? Do you know, Billy?
It's.
I haven't
It's bad.
seen anything else. I thought they extended his detention for like 30 days and then they have to provide something else within that time. Something like that. I'm not entirely sure. So
from
don't-
what I've so we're not blogging about it. So I'm off the blog.
yeah,
the Andrew Tate
because we're
blog.
not cool.
Yeah. No. We're not allowed to blog. I've submitted so many Andrew Tate blogs.
They're
Then they just have, like,
they're
covering
suppressing
the
your voice.
Well, I don't
You should
understand.
take
We're
pi-
trying to get clicks here at this company.
You should take pictures of the blogs and tweet them out as photos.
Yeah.
Undermine? I love it.
Jack Mac did that one time.
Which blog do you do?
I forget what it was. It was funny.
But
Did he get in trouble for it?
I think Dave liked it. I think he thought it was funny. I forget what
Ah.
it may have been the day I think there was snow and
yeah.
a bunch of people didn't show up and Jack Mac wrote a blog about all the people who didn't come on the snow day.
and he trudged through snow to get there.
And they didn't post it because they were like, we don't want to this is just like going at people. And then Jack was like, fuck that. And so he just tweeted it out anyway.
Well, the editors also didn't make it in the snow day.
I think that was part of
it was also
yeah.
COVID working from home
That's funny, though.
but it was more just to get clicks. Like Andrew Tate gets arrested. I blogged that over like when he first got arrested. That would have gotten tons of clicks.
Crazy they're keeping you down, bro.
No, it's just like it just prevents me from getting to the top charts. Just top 20 stuff.
Who is it? Name them. Call them out.
No. It's because I don't like their job's hard. They're trying to do the right thing.
You're bitching out right now.
I'm not bitching out. I just like I'm on good terms with them right now, and I like getting my blogs posted.
All right.
But yeah, I think Andrew Tate's literally running a similar scheme.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. From what's described.
Should we sign up for Hustlers U?
What is it like? One of those self-help things?
Should get a
Yeah,
discount now, huh?
It's a self-help.
Yeah, I wonder if they're running any specials.
It's a self-help thing, and it literally talks about how you need to emotionally.
What if they're running any specials?
Like he was committing fraud. I do like.
I'm enrolling.
How much is it? I think it was like $50 or some shit, wasn't it?
I'm looking.
Well, the NXIVM stuff was like $5,000.
You have to hit join now like 8 times.
Like the thing is, a lot of the people I think he was taking advantage of, Andrew Tate, are sex workers from Europe who have done other types of sex work.
Okay.
$50 a month, bro. That's stealing. I'm putting my work email address so that if it's a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, might be a write-off.
Yeah.
Are you really doing it?
No.
Actually, you know what? I'll fucking do it.
I'm on the page.
Don't sign up to that shit, man. So what I heard, there's this dude online who all he does is like debunk frauds. So he was on that Logan Paul shit early. Even Logan Paul hit him and apologized because he was going to go after lawyers, but now he's like, okay, I'm just going to apologize for the shit that we was doing because it was wrong. And so like he just outs fraudsters. I forget his name. Really, really funny dude. But he did that shit. He did the Andrew Tate shit and he signed up for Hustlers University. And it's basically like you get a link to his Discord. And you get a link to his Discord, and it's just like a bunch of channels full of dudes that are like experts, quote unquote, in whatever said field. So it's like making money or whatever the case may be. And so like, it's just like, he's like, it's very low level, like basic shit about investing or something like that. It's wild. It's wild.
Are you saying it's like Billy's List?
No,
It's just a
because
Discord
at least he's engaging with his Discord. You know, you're just leaving them out to dry. I had a couple of them hit me up. It's like, hey man, what's up with your Discord, man? Because we're about to leave Billy's. and he said, word on the street is they about to commandeer it.
Yeah,
There's a mutiny.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, Billy's List. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, they're couping. I'm checking it right now. Address your constituents. We're couping.
They're what now?
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
It's
Coup.
couping.
It's cool.
Coup.
But what if what is the act of committing a coup?
Cooing.
Cooing?
I don't know if that's the verb, but that's the word you're using.
It should be. I doubt they add the P just because it's
Yeah, cooing.
it's a
Committing a coup.
Yeah.
Engaging in coup-like behavior. All right. Do we have anything else on this NXIVM guy? He was a freak.
I don't think that. Yeah.
120 years in prison. They hit him with the RICO.
Oh damn.
With the RICO racketeer shit is crazy.
Actually, we should try to go after cults. Should we just be cult busters? Like if anyone
You
knows,
find one that hasn't been brought down yet.
Yeah, if anyone knows what the next big NXIVM is, we will go crack that egg.
Well, like I said,
Make
it was
some
Clemson, but Tennessee took care of that. Am I right? already brought him down.
Why do you say Dabo's a cult? Like, I understand Texas A&M. Y'all explain that to me, but I mean, I don't fuck with Dabo. I think he's a dweeb and just a hypocrite. But
I mean,
why
yeah,
don't you
he's
him?
like the fakest dude of all time, and is like, he thinks he's a preacher and is just like full of shit, and gets these, and he spews nonsense, and I hate him. And
why do you say Clemson fans are cults? Are you just
they worship at the altar of Dabo. I mean, they've bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Really?
I'm sure they're nice people. I'm sure they're great, but they got a little taste of winning from this guy who's full of shit, and now they've bought it.
I mean, it's a lot. What he had, like 2? He got 2, don't he?
Mm-hmm. Great football coach.
I would say it's not
At
a little bit.
At least he was. Anyway.
Interesting. Yeah. Do we got to? Is Maddie even? Did Maddie leave?
Yeah, she's gone. It's the three amigos right now.
Hell yeah.
It's the 3 amigos. This is what we do, baby. Love it. Love it. So we don't got nothing else on us, dude. I didn't know. I didn't find him that interesting. It's like once you kind of see a cult, they're kind of all the same. Like it's Scientology. It's all this exact same. They follow the same template, and so it really wasn't that.
They target the same people. It's just, it's kind of crazy that people don't realize.
Do we have? But we did end up. Billy's guy was legit. We think. So we're gonna put that here at the end. He has a lot of interesting insight.
What if he gets popped? What if he gets popped because of this podcast?
Listen, this guy came on and voluntarily shared some information that is really interesting, and I think it's fine.
Yeah.
So
right, well, let's go into that then.
It's Billy's guy. Billy, you can intro him if you want. We're calling him Hank.
His name's Hank. If you're a law enforcement person listening right now, just come on, dude. Just
yeah, that'll do it.
Chill.
Just come on.
This guy nothing this guy said is illegal, Billy.
Come on, you got everyone you wanted behind bars. This dude was in college. Just chill out.
You should actually cut this part because that makes it sound really bad, and it's not.
What?
Don't cut none of this shit.
You should.
Then they're gonna listen and realize that Billy's exaggerating.
All right, yeah, whatever. Go. Let's go to Hank.
Out.
Let's go to Hank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have an anonymous insider on the NXIVM case, and this guy was found in some DMs, and hopefully he can shed some insight that wasn't in any of the documentaries and mainstream story. We'd like to welcome on our anonymous source, we're just going to call Hank. What up, Hank?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Long-time listener since episode 1. So appreciate you guys. This is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So, Hank, what would be the best way to describe how you obtained some of the information that you have and your intel on the situation?
Yeah, for sure. So I, while I was in college, I grew up in upstate New York. And while I was in college, I had a family friend who owned a local store. I took his offer and I got a job there. When I got the job there, it's the type of store that just sort of caters to a lot of people on a daily basis. So the same people are coming in there every day. You get regulars or whatever. It's not a food store, but just something like that. So I was working there, and about on my second day of the job, my boss and a couple of the other employees joked around with me. And this was back in 2017. So NXIVM really wasn't mainstream back then. Nothing had blew up at that point. So second day at the job, my boss and my coworkers were like, "Oh, just so you know, you're going to be dealing with a cult every day." And I was like, "Haha, very funny, guys. Don't know what you're talking about." And then as the months unfolded, they told me, go watch this YouTube video, go look at this article. Slowly things started to get weirder. Then it got to a point where you could kind of pick out who was a part of NXIVM, to the point where you knew so much about it that it was so prevalent and every day. And then all the shit hit the fan and they started to blow up, and that's when it got really fun. So that's when weird things started happening, and it got more intense. So I will say it was a mail store in the local area of upstate New York.
So what kind of stuff did you see? Did you have any contact with some of the high-ranking members, even Raniere? I think that's Raniere. And did you have any contact with the investigation during this time?
So, yeah. So no contact with Keith Raniere. Keith Raniere never stepped foot in the store. But a lot of the normal everyday members. So probably around 100 to 150 NXIVM members would come in over a week's basis, and they were all different people, and they would all come in for some sort of reason. We were kind of their go-to spot in the area for whatever they needed to do. On that same note, in terms of higher ranking people, certain days you would be standing there, you'd be just doing your job. All of a sudden you look up and Nancy Salzman and her daughter Lauren are walking through the door. Big smiles on their face, always smiling, always, way too cheery. And so we started working with them a little. I met Claire Bronfman. I never met Sarah, but I was involved with a lot of their transactions. And then another non as well-known name is the name Basit Iktet. I believe he's a Middle Eastern investor, and he was romantically linked to the Bronfman sisters. He would come in pretty often. And although we were never a part of the investigation, also we were like all the people you see in the HBO documentary, like just the random people sitting in Keith's house while he's spewing bullshit. Those were all people who would like come into the store day by day. So that was that.
You said that they'd have like like weird smiles on their face all the time. Were they usually in a very happy mood, or did they seem, was there anything that like just seeing them come in, you would say those people are weird, or was it just like, wow, these people are always just in a great mood?
Definitely weird. Like these people do not interact on a normal level. Like the conversations they have, they are planning in their head before they interact with you. So they've got that big smile on their face. They're all about being positive, self-help, putting the best foot forward for themselves. So you'll walk in there and you'll start talking to them, and it is just like cryptic, like smiling, like always twisting something in a positive viewpoint. So that was some of the people. There were also people who were extremely skeptical of us. Like we were handling their mail on a day-to-day basis. So these people, like, there were definitely people who knew, like, these people know who we are. And as shit like started to go down, that's when they probably got a little more nervous about interacting with us.
Did anyone ever try to recruit you to come to a NXIVM seminar?
So I was not recruited because I was kind of there late in the NXIVM game, but my boss was directly recruited by like one of Keith's right-hand man, who that right-hand man is now dead, just like by random circumstance. So he walked in one day, and this was probably like 2014, back when NXIVM, everyone just knew it as the local self-help group. And they were doing a transaction. And like I said, they're always really positive. So they're like encouraging you, like here's an example. They'd be like, wow, you are so good at your job. And just like keep telling you that, keep complimenting you, kind of like trying to lift you up. So one of the members after the transaction said, you know, like so-and-so, you seem like a really good kid. Would you ever be interested in helping yourself more as you step into like your professional career? And the manager walked over and heard what was going on and sniffed it out and said no. And he pulled the NXIVM member to the back and told him never to speak to him like that again. So it was kind of like a known thing that the bosses of the shop knew who the members were, and the members knew the bosses knew. But the bosses didn't want to get rid of all of them because they were bringing in thousands of dollars worth of revenue a month. So.
Yeah.
Did you ever see any of the evidence of the collateral that was being sent up to the top in any of the alleged packages that were being ordered, certain gear that might have been moving, they needed delivered and whatnot?
So I just want to circle back on this basic tech guy quick, because Billy asked about if I was ever involved in the investigation. So I was never involved in the investigation. We always joked about, like, do you think there's like FBI guys just staking out in the parking lot all day, just kind of like watching us, seeing who's going in and out of the store, whatnot. But one day Basic Tech came in and he asked to express ship a laptop to France. And he said I need it there like tomorrow or the next day, which is a lot of money. It's pretty much a plane ticket to fly over to France. So I told him what the price was. He said, no question, go ahead, do it. He stayed in the store to make sure it was packed up. He didn't want to leave until it was packed. I showed him that it was packed, put it in the back of the store. 2 days later, my manager gets a call from the FBI asking us to confirm that we shipped that package. So once they confirmed it, got all the details, the tracking number and stuff, the FBI took it from there. But yes, they did say, like, what's going on here? So they definitely had eyes on our store.
So do you ascertain that maybe a lot of the collateral that they talked about in the documentaries may have been on that laptop, and sending it out of the country was for safekeeping of that blackmail?
I think so this is another thing I kind of want to get straight about, like the documentaries and stuff. It's not a sex cult. Like everyone wants to label it as a sex cult, but it's really like an abuse of power cult. Like the sex stuff was only happening within like Keith's circle. You know what I mean? He was facilitating all that stuff. All these other people who were part of the cult were like fraudulent in terms of money, in terms of stuff like that. So I think like Basic Tet was probably involved in a lot of, types of financial stuff, like giving a lot of money to the fund. Probably had a lot of incriminating emails on that laptop. So when he sent that, that's probably what that included. In terms of collateral, I never saw direct collateral. The only thing I ever saw, this is another detail, all these, one thing they do in NXIVM is they try and build you up, and they want you to like be self-sufficient, and they convince these people to open these random LLCs. So within the office, I had LLCs. Some members had like upwards of 5. They were doing things like window washing, like just random shit, but they were just like whatever they could like set a goal towards. So what they would do is they would start these LLCs, and then the only evidence I really ever saw of collateral was one of the members asked me to laminate some documents. And while I was laminating them, of course, I was reading them. And there were details on it, like her entire day was broken down to the minute of like what she was doing in that minute. And then within that was all the calories she would eat, all that stuff. And then she also, her LLC was like a real estate business. So on that was like her financial goals for the next 3 years. And they were like ridiculous. Like for a small town LLC that just started, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue within a year, or like something like that. And just like proceeding from there. So they were like taught to hold these standards against themselves. And I think they, like the people who weren't a part of Keith's like sex ring, DOS, those people were just like abusing themselves pretty much. So.
Yeah. What was the general feeling in the town, like the townspeople towards NXIVM? Did they, like, I know you said that they were kind of an important client, so you had to treat them pretty well, but like overall, was the town like, we got these freaks on the hill over here that are doing their weird cult thing? Like, did you guys know that it was a cult, or was it just like they're a bunch of weirdos that live in town?
Right. So that's the other thing is like, while I was working there, dude, my respect for them changed like so fast. Like when I started there, I was like, they're another customer walking through the door. Then as I started to read more and dive into the folklore online, I was like, my perspective started to shift. And then when it came to it, I was really like, fuck these guys. Like, and I was probably like letting my attitude like get the best of me, like treating them like pretty coldly. Like while they would be asking me for favors, I'd be ignoring them, stuff like that. So I would say the town like didn't give a fuck. Like I tell all my friends all the time, like all my cool NXIVM stories, and they're like, oh, like that's cool, like whatever. So it was like really weird. I think a lot of the older generation was like super aware of it because there were all, like women's events. Like my mom would attend women's events in the area. And every year they would have a booth at these women's events, and they'd try and be recruiting people like that. So those were in the early years, like early 2000s to 2010s, like before people knew what they were actually doing. But if you ask the adults in the area, they're like very aware of it. And yeah, I think it is kind of like a freaks on the hill type of like opinion about them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was that. What was really fun was when everything started to like go down, when all the articles were coming out, all the videos were coming out, they were making arrests. They were flocking into the store and shipping their entire lives down to Texas with intentions to cross the border to Mexico.
Huh.
So we're coming in $1,000 transactions, just box after box, shipping all that stuff. Almost every one of them also had a box that was for shredding when they came in. And I think I mentioned to Billy, we probably shredded like 100,000 documents or like more of just like boxes on boxes of these things. And they were always I don't know if you guys have ever worked with these like corporate shredding companies, but you like put them in a garbage bin that's locked, and then the company doesn't come and pick it up and shred it until you call them and order them to come. So Pete, that freaked them out. Like the fact that they were in a locked bin, but they weren't getting shredded in our store. Like they were very skeptical about that.
Huh. Did they do anything to circumvent that, or they just were they trusted the process on the shredding of the documents?
I think they definitely like trusted us, because when I say like this got to a point where like I was on a first name basis with them, like they were coming in every day. And I know I said I was kind of being like a douche to them, but it made my job a lot easier to like be nice to them and just get them their shit. And the job I was doing like wasn't too hard. So it'd just be like, as soon as you saw the face through the door, you'd go grab their stuff they were coming to pick up. Like you knew what was going on. So that's what I didn't like, is that they all knew me by like first name and everything. So I think like once I kind of like, I also multiple times like had to say to them, you know, like, I don't care about your shredding documents, when in reality, like I did think it was kind of cool. But
were they by far your like biggest shredding documents client?
Towards the end, 100%. Yeah. They were, before that.
I'm asking because as somebody in your position, it's got to be weird. Like some of your job is to just help people destroy documents that they don't want people finding. And so it could be like any business. Like how common is it that businesses across America are just like destroying a shitload of documents? Right.
That aren't yours, but you're having your hands all over them. Yeah. I was, feeding them one by one into the shredding bin. A lot of these documents were like big booklets that were like NXIVM issued booklets, like the stuff you see in the documentaries, like the shit they were handing out at those, like at their seminars, like here are the 100 steps to be a better person or some shit like that. So.
Got it. Big T, you got anything?
No, sounds pretty crazy though.
Yeah, there's also like a ton of just random stories, like there was, I don't know. I saw Mad Dog said on Twitter to watch Seduced. So did you guys watch Seduced or The Vow?
Seduced.
Seduced. I saw Seduced.
Okay. Did they go into like how NXIVM was trying to like prey on Mexico at all?
I watched 3 out of 4 episodes, so I didn't get to the last one.
I got 3 out of 4 as well.
That was me with The Vow too.
I did some other research on Raniere, and he was arrested in Mexico, right? So he was like, it sounded like they had a pretty big footprint down there.
Yeah, I think like they got heavily involved with like very wealthy families in Mexico that were just like letting them do whatever they wanted down there. Like nobody was really questioning them down there. So there was this one instance where when I tell you like these people were dumb too, like just very simple-minded people. They were like the members of NXIVM. So I had this one kid who came into the store, and I asked him to sign. He was opening a mailbox, and I asked him to sign the paperwork, and I asked him if he could put today's date there. And he said, "How do you write today's date?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I've been in Mexico for months. I don't know how to like write out the date." And in other countries, they do it day, month, year. But like this kid did not know like the form of 2 numerals, a / and 2 more numerals. So that was weird. That same kid, there are rumors online of him. They started this program in Mexico where they like everything they did was pseudoscience. So one of their programs was to teach kids like a different language very young. Like they would have a lot of Spanish speaking members of NXIVM, and they would like those people would become babysitters for the wealthy family's kids, and they would speak dual language, and they believed that would make the kid like smarter. And that same kid who didn't know how to write the dates was accused of like sexual assault allegations in Mexico. And I think that's why he got sent back up here.
Oh,
Jeez.
Yeah.
it's wild. All right. Well, Hank, thank you for joining us. We appreciate the perspective. Billy, you have anything else you want to ask him?
No, I think that's all it. Thank you so much for coming on, Hank. And hopefully,
Hey, I love you guys. Arian Foster, I love you. Thank you for giving me joy watching NFL for many years. So
Much love, brother. I appreciate that, man.
for sure. Keep doing you guys. I'll be listening. So if you ever do another topic, I'll be in Billy's DMs.
Okay. Hell yeah, man.
Very,
Bye, guys.
thanks, man.
See you.
Thanks, Hank. For
All
coming
right,
on.
that was shit. You gonna do it, Billy? God damn.
It was my
You're
interview.
power hungry.
It was my interview.
Power hungry, Billy. You're right. It was. You're right. Go ahead, Billy. Cook.
You want to do voicemails?
Sure.
Okay. We just have 2 today.
Hey, what up, gang? Love the show. I was just listening to Arian's Love Going Crazy, and he said, never had a problem following me into the weekend. And I was thinking, you guys ever have a bad date story, like a embarrassing date story? It went wrong. Somehow, she got crazy. You got weird. I don't know. You got a weird date story? Let me hear it.
Thought this was funny.
Arian, did you hear the question?
No, I can't hear the question.
He referenced one of your songs,
Love Going Crazy.
Love Going Crazy. I forget exactly what it, but he asked if you have if everybody has a bad date story.
Bad date story. Why would he mention my song?
It was like
You
said
said I've
something
never
about-
had a problem follow me into the weekend.
Yeah, shout out to that guy, man. Go stream it if you haven't. Bobby Fino, you know what I mean? It's almost at 1 million listens on Spotify, which is pretty cool.
Hype.
But yeah, bad date. I don't think yeah, I have. You ever be around somebody, you meet somebody for the first time, you've been talking, on the internet for a while, and on the internet, on your phone, you're talking on the phone for a while, and you finally go meet them, and it's just nothing you can, because it's nothing that they did, right? But it's just the vibe was so off. You don't really get along, and you don't really agree with anything that they say, and it just gets to the point where it's like it's getting annoying. Like, you're kind of annoying me, and I don't want to be rude, right? And so we met up, and I was over it pretty quickly, but she wanted to continue to like explore me. And so I got this little game on my phone, and I'm playing the game. And then she starts getting mad. Like, isn't that rude? Like, you're being rude. I was like, it's not being rude. I was like, I heard everything you said. And she's like, yeah, but you're being rude. I was like, I don't think I'm being rude. I say, I don't really like the tone you're taking with me right now. Like, it's getting kind of, you're really aggressive. Like, if you have an issue with me, just say it. Like, you don't gotta talk to me like that. But she kept pressing me, saying I was being rude. And then, like, from there, it just got really bad. I was just like, I don't like you. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't like you. And that's really hard to do to somebody you just meet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a really weird and awkward place to be in. But she pushed me to the point of, like, I was trying to be nice, but you keep insulting me. Now I'm like, yo, you not lit. It's just it's time to move on. And so it was a really bad experience. But it is what it is. We moved on from then.
I've told my most prevalent one on here before, but it was pretty similar vibes to what you just mentioned. And this girl was super into numerology
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've told
and
us.
was explaining it to me, and I was like, that's nonsense. And she was like, she listed off what my numerology was, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't describe me at all. She's like, well, you'd be the first person I ever met who didn't like. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then she also, I think I've mentioned this too, asked me where I was from. And I was like, Georgia. And she was like, you know what I mean? And she's like, where are your grandparents from? And I was like, Georgia. She's like, where are your great-grandparents from? And I was like, Georgia. and she was just getting so pissed off. And I was like, yeah, this is not gonna be a thing.
Georgia.
Yeah, them numerology people be killing me, man. I got a homeboy who's like that. He just sent something in the he sent something in the group chat the other day, dog, talking about the whole buddy from Buffalo with the heart problem.
Damar Hamlin.
And and saying that the NFL is scripted. And I'm talking about my man is in a group chat with like 6 of us who play in the NFL. and he's like telling us the NFL is scripted and it has all kinds of these like the number 3 and like all this.
Yeah, wait.
Is
that who I think it is? He was on his Instagram story talking about the number 66. Wait.
It's probably the same type of bullshit, but that's not. You don't know him.
Wait, what? Who is it?
You're probably thinking of Larry Johnson.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Larry Johnson.
Yeah, no, it's not him. Nah, Larry Johnson is that. Oh shit. There's a name for that shit. I forget. I always tweet it out when people ask me, but it's like when you see patterns everywhere that aren't there, and they'll connect anything and any and everything. And this is Larry Johnson played in the league. He played in the NFL and was a 2-time Pro Bowler. And it's like, you mean to tell me, dogs, like somebody handed you a script? Shut up, man. Like, shut up. So stupid.
But it's that pattern recognition may have made him really good at reading defenses or like reading different blitz packages. Like
he was good at not getting tackled. I don't know about all the rest of that shit. But yeah, the thing about cats like that though is if you got to be careful like getting into it with them because some of them are very well read, right? And so if you are unknowledgeable about a certain aspect of what they believe in, then in their head, in the audience's head, that's who. If there's somebody's watching you, get into it with them. That's an L for you. So like they're really into like the Bible. They are really into certain aspects of history. And so if you're not well read enough to even get into it with them, like I would suggest you don't, because they know what they talk about from a certain aspect. It's just they connect all this other bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's wild. Billy, you got any date stories?
He won't tell it.
Why is that?
Because he's like always cryptic.
He like doesn't think he's ever talked to a woman.
Yeah, it's better if you guys think that.
Mm-hmm. Do you not have one?
See,
like
just
nothing...
go to the next one. Go to the next voice.
Oh yeah, I have one.
I
yes.
have them, but they're too specific, and I don't want those people...
Too specific. There's only going to be one other person in the world that knows about it.
I don't want them hitting me up. Let's go.
Come out. Are you mean to tell me a person you've had a bad date with is religiously listening to your podcast, and at the end of hour 3, she's going to be combing through the video footage?
Trust me, someone would message her. Someone would message, oh, like there's enough people. Yeah,
honestly don't think she gives a flying fuck what you think about her, Billy. That's just a wild guess. But
some people, some people should be able to go through their life and not think that something that they did shows up on a random podcast with someone they met 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Holy shit! Just go to
Billy's
the
pulling the privacy of innocent civilians.
Yeah. Yeah.
At some point, people should feel security in knowing they won't be on a podcast.
Yeah,
all right, Matt, what's yours?
I went on it was my first date in New York, and the guy was, I guess I found out once we got on the date, was very into Barstool. Luckily didn't listen to Macrodosing, but he asked me if I had ever met Dave. I said no, and he then laid out a step-by-step plan for me to impress Dave.
That rocks.
And he was like, this is what you need to do. You need to go up to him, give him a firm handshake. You need to look him in the eye, and then you need to tell him what you're going to bring to... I was like, I already worked there.
No, this guy rocks.
Oh, and then he told me what... he must have done something in finance. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. But he then told me how to like invest in the stock market, which is just if you're a boy in that world, don't tell your first date what she should be investing in her portfolio.
You know, it's
you don't want to get rich.
It is so ridiculous how some people who have like think that they have such a good idea of what goes on in this company, and they're like, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, look, man, like, I'll tell you how to do your job.
Yeah, no, but he was like basically breaking down how I need to become content. I go, that's not my MO here. I'm like more behind the scenes. And he was like, don't you want to be the next big cat? And I was like, not necessarily.
The next big cat.
Mad Cat.
Yeah, but
Mad cat.
Yeah. That's kind of every girl that works here that I've talked to about dating and stuff has had a similar experience where it's like every dude that's just like, well, have you met Dave? Just like,
Damn, y'all gotta stop dating dudes with Sperry's on.
he probably was wearing Sperry.
That's a lot of New York. A lot of
Yeah.
Sperry wearing.
Yeah,
A lot of Sperry wearing.
It's a lot of the Hinge population on New York as well. Yeah,
Hinge?
yeah, the dating app.
Nah, see, if you're gonna do it, you gotta pay for it. Dating
The
apps,
fuck am I paying? Like,
Like-
who am I paying?
What?
you
You're
pay.
saying
There's
do
app
like
services.
eHarmony or
Do-
something.
Yeah, do like a upscale one because like, if you're doing the free ones, like dudes just wanna they just try and bone. That's all they're doing. And even for the upscale ones, but you're more likely to find, like a dude that's willing to, invest in his dating. If you're gonna do dating apps, that's my advice. But
Yeah, I got off the Hinge game. It is soul crushing. So
but how many unsolicited pictures were sent to you?
over Hinge?
Yeah.
None.
I don't know that you
Oh.
can send pictures on
Yeah.
there.
No, I don't think you
Hinge-
can. I
Hinge
think for
is-
that
that's why,
exact
okay.
reason.
No, Hinge is
Yeah,
like,
okay.
isn't it that girls swipe only?
No, that's Bumble.
That's
That's
yeah.
Bumble.
I have not done that.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Do you want to do one more
Too bad.
voicemail? You want to go?
yeah,
out?
do one more voicemail. Yeah, we can do one more voicemail.
What's up? This is Michael from San Diego. I had a question relating to Avatar. So, in the movie, the humans that get made into avatars, or have an avatar rather, they get clothing made for them. And you may remember some other people had accessories, like the military man was wearing the Oakley-style goggles or sunglasses. So I'm curious, what clothing would you want to be made for your Navi body if you were to go into the Avatar world? Yeah. I guess.
Arian, being that some of the humans who have avatars in the films have clothing made for them, if you were made into an avatar, what kind of clothing would you want to wear?
I don't think I would have clothing made. I would wear what the natives wear, with the exception I might have like a dope ass beanie or something like that. Maybe a beanie. I would just do a beanie. Yeah, it's like dress in Navi shit, with the whatever vibe they going for, and then just like a nice little rolled up beanie. That shit might be lit.
Navi Fino.
What do you think about the Navi?
Hell yeah.
What do you think the Navi pets?
They're not pets.
Think they're domesticated?
They just
I
have
don't
a
think
special hair octopus connection.
Exactly. They connect with them and they have a conversation with that animal, and it's a mutual thing that they want to achieve an objective.
I just think it's a little weird how they have sex the same way that they touch the things with the animals.
Is that true?
Yeah, did you see the first movie when they're under that tree?
I saw it in 2008.
They connect those things. Well,
Oh, okay.
why do you think people aren't just randomly connecting? Like, why don't you think the Navi aren't like connecting those things like randomly every day?
I mean, do you walk up and like shake the hand of everyone you see in New York City?
No, but like, why is that so forbidden?
I didn't know. I don't.
Like, they would have like been doing it more if it wasn't like super like
totally
personal,
I don't know.
you know?
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all about the voicemails, right?
Mhm.
Anybody have anything else they want to get to, or are we calling it
Sure.
wraps and praying for PFT's full recovery?
buy tickets to the live show.
Oh yeah, You what is it? It's
January 26th. If you live in the greater New York City metropolitan area.
Or you don't.
Down to even like
Philly.
DC.
I seen some dude said he's flying from Albuquerque. He tweeted y'all.
Saw
I
that.
saw that.
Yeah. Hey, make sure you shout out, the crib, because if you flying all the way, that's hometown. I'm gonna show you some love, bro. So that's pretty dope. So y'all buy our tickets. How do they do that, Maddie?
You can go to the link in all of our bios on social, and the tickets will be there. Or it's at Sony Hall if you go to Sony Hall's website, and you can find tickets there. But yeah, that's pretty much everyone.
Beautiful. Well, all right, y'all. That's this episode. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. We got something special planned when we hit 100K. Big T will be doing drugs, all of them at the same time, live. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. Much love.
Also, special guest next week.
Oh, I can't wait. I was gonna fly in for that, but
That's how special it is.
I'm not. Yeah, that's how special it was. All right, y'all.
Peace.